Good evening, Facebook world. I'm your host, Paul Italia. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Welcome to the Arm Wrestling Buzz episode 73. We got the Arm Wrestling Buzz crew in the house. We got Matt Hollywood Conley flexing those guns. And we got
Ah,
tonight's special guest coming from all the way from Australia. He's got a big match coming up. Well, an 8-man round robin style match coming up with the AWE. Brett Coutts, what's up, brother? How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks, man. How are you?
Doing great, bro. Doing great. And I love both of you guys' shirts. I feel left out, man. I feel like I should have my AWE shirt on right now. I do have the Helly shirt on.
Had to put it on.
oh,
Hell yeah. Hell
yeah.
yeah. So
You've
what's up,
been putting.
everybody in the chat? How's everybody doing? We got Mr. Peanut, Drew 24. We got the Nightmare in the house. Nightmare is going to be popping in later. He's got something coming up he wants to tell us all about. We got Throttle Villain. We got School Ladyboy, Stizzy. I love your guys' names in the chat, man. Crazy. Very inventive over there. We got Luke Jones.
Throttle Villain's Simon. No, just came second at Worlds in the wheelchair.
Wow.
So, hey, Simon.
Who is that?
It's a wheelchair athlete who trains with us. He just came second left and right at WAF.
And what's his name?
Simon.
Simon. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Shout out to Simon. Hell yeah, bro. So want to talk about this big event that Matt has got coming up and that Brett's going to be a part of that. So I'm going to have Matt start us off, just kind of give us all the 411 and, when's it go down, where can everybody see it, and all the good stuff.
Yeah, and it's going to be incredible. It's October the 27th is when the event is taking place. It is an 8-man double elimination tournament with some of the best guys in the Southern Hemisphere. Brett Coutts being one of them, having been a multiple national time Australian champion. Looks like a Mr. Olympia physique competitor. He's one of the most muscular arm wrestlers that I've seen in the world. There he is. Look out for that.
He's so big, we can't even see him. Look at it. He's too wide for the screen he's on. Holy shit.
Absolutely. And so Rickard Bornman, he was the winner of the first event. And Brett actually came runner-up in that event to Rickard Bornman in the finals. And so Brett is no slouch in this tournament format. He beat Brian Bowen at the last event as well, and he's seeking revenge. He wants to take down Rickard Bornman. He's got him in his sights. And they're also after the 8-man elimination tournament is completed, Brett and Rickard are going to be having a left-handed super match, and that's Brett's specialty. He is a left-handed master, so we'll see if Rickard has the goods on left hand as well, and that's going to be taking place. It'll be October 27th. We're not going to be streaming it live, but we're going to do a post-production edit, which is going to be put out. It's basically as soon as the event finishes, we're going to be jumping on the PC and cutting it all together and making it look fantastic and getting rid of the fluff kind of in between, waiting around stuff, and make it as entertaining and as consumable to watch as possible. And then that'll be coming out on the AWE channel, the Underground channel. So that'll be for free. You don't have to pay anything for that. And we also have Ashley Howetta from New Zealand, New Zealand's strongest woman, the first woman to bench press over 700 pounds and or 317 kilos for those who are us that work in kilos. And she is taking on Australia's #1 arm wrestler, Keziah Harrington, in a super match as well. So lots to watch, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. We're putting it out for free for everybody. And the reason we're doing that is we want as many people to be able to see the event as possible and in as easily as possible. So you don't have to sign up to anything. You don't have to go and download an app. It's all going to be on YouTube on the AWE Underground channel.
So guys, get over. I'm gonna share the link right now. Actually, our man Drew 24 is on top of it. I love it, Drew. Thank you. So guys, get over there right now. Go click that subscribe button. So as soon as that clean edit comes out, you guys could be the first to check it out. And we really appreciate, Matt, you doing an edit and all, and cutting out all the fluff. I think that's just great for the viewers, and we really, really do appreciate that. So
yeah, it's one of the. I was going to say, it's just one of those things like we've discussed before when you're watching an event and it goes for 7 hours and you're only getting about 40 minutes of actual arm wrestling. It's like we'll eliminate all of the stuff that is quite boring to watch, and where there's no action happening, and it'll just be the good thing is, especially with these sort of events, with the tournament format, is it's just match after match after match, and the storyline progresses right through. It's double elimination and it's first to two each round. And so, you're going to see Brett Coutts versus his opening round opponent, first to two, bang. And then it's like whoever wins that is obviously going to move on. And that storyline is going to play out it usually takes about an hour of actual watching content footage. So it should be a fast paced, very entertaining package.
And shout out the Pro Panja League. He says, Bollywood Matt Conley. Thank you for that. And to RHCP, he says, I'm here for Don Hollywood. Where is he? He will be on in the second part of the show. He'll be joining us shortly. So definitely stay tuned and we'll have that coming up. And we got a super chat from Murphy for $2. We need a Paul versus Orton match. Let's go. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. I'm going one direction. I'm going down in weight. Orton's going up in weight. So, I don't think that's going to actually happen. I think that time has passed and all. But you will see me going 176 class come January. I'll be getting active on the tournament scene and all that. Just a quick update for everybody. So let's talk to our special guest today, Brett. I want to find out about you, bro. I've heard so much great stuff from Matt. Obviously, you are just a specimen to look at. I mean, I seen that picture of you at the table, and your arms are just insane. I mean, you look like a pro bodybuilder more than even an arm wrestler. But I hear that you're the number 2 seed in Australia right now, right behind Rickard Bornman, and you might be his biggest threat. So how did it all begin, and when did you start arm wrestling, brother?
I was there's only one or two other people in Australia that started before me. That would be Sam Safuri had been around, and Big Murray McKay had done a few things, but I've been doing it for probably 17 years. So I was at the first nationals. I think I won the first nationals left and right in 2 weight classes. I'm getting old too, so I'm starting to get a few more injuries, but yeah, I've been competing for 17 years. The last few years I've fallen off a little bit with work and other stuff, but I'm having a good crack at it again now.
Wow, that's impressive. 17 years. That's a true OG right there. And RHCP, he says, congrats, Brett, on your last showing at AWE. Impressive. Ask Brett if Bam Bam Bornman is ready for the international elite.
Yeah, Rickard is a freak. I thought I'd be able to sit in his power zone, which most people I can fight power to power. Rickard, certain places you can't go. I think I've still got options. I've definitely got a way through, but he's got a lot of ways through me too. So you can't sit under that press and such a big dude. It's just not possible.
What's your height compared to Rickard? Are you guys close in height, or is he a lot taller?
Nah, he's I'm just under 6 foot. He's probably 6'3", 6'4".
6'3".
6'3". He's got 25 kilos on me.
Okay. And Drew24 has just shared the Pro Panja League's YouTube. Guys, go get over there and check it out. It's got 300K subs already. So let's help them grow over there in North America, and let's get them really out here. And they just said thanks for your continued support to Drew. So tell me about how you're getting prepared for this big 8-man event that you got coming up October 27th.
I've been smashing it. I've actually been off work for a couple of weeks. So I've been training twice a day, every day. Probably kind of just overdid it a little bit recently, where I've may have hurt myself a touch, but I should be right. My left hand's, I'm pretty confident with my left. I think Rickard's in trouble. But I've just been stacking on the way, training twice a day, arm wrestling twice a week, arm wrestling training every day, doing everything I can.
Who's some of your training partners that are helping you get ready for this?
I've got Andy Bosnichus. He won the 100 kilo class at Nationals last year. Other than that, most of my training partners are smaller, but they're all at the top of their weight class. But we use bands. I've got an arm wrestling table in front of a cable cage, so I do a lot of weight and cable training to improve strength. The actual table time, I get technique out of it, but I don't find I get that much extra strength out of it, which is what I need.
We got a question from Murphy. He wants to know, huge arm wrestling fan, is Orton more advanced than you guys thought for his weight? Let me ask Matt, what do you think with that?
Well, I think that he's looked incredibly good, but the opponents that he's gone against haven't been the highest quality of arm wrestler. So it's a little bit hard to tell. The people that he's gone against, like James English and the Korean Hulk, they're not established elite arm wrestlers. So, Orton's going to look very, very comfortable technique-wise against people like that who are still learning the game and trying to be up-and-comers. But it'll be interesting if he does go against somebody who is at that top level that does have a technique that could potentially match him. I'm not sure if that's the path that they are really pushing towards. I think they're looking more at what's the biggest possible name recognition match that gets the most attention, as opposed to the technical aspect to please the arm wrestling fans.
Brett, I'm going to ask you, brother, what do you think of a possible match between Ryan Bowen and Orton Lorette? How do you think that goes?
I think Orton's got too much. Neither of them are big horsepower pullers. They're technical, and I think Orton's he's too big. His arm's too long. He's too much hand control.
What's your record against Ryan Bowen? I heard that you got a pin on the last event and all.
Nah, he's never pinned me, and he hates it. He flash pinned me in the last AWE, but elbow fouled. And so I beat him first round. He elbow fouled, so we started again. He got a flash pin on me, but he elbow fouled. And the next one, once it stops, yeah, I've got it. But he really wants to pin on me bad.
What kind of style puller are you? Are you an inside puller?
Yeah, I'm a hooker.
Yeah, I could see that way. I could tell by the power and your physique and all that. You could definitely tell that. So, what's the plans for Rickard? Do you have like a strategy to try beating him, or do you want to go inside with him?
100% have a strategy. I don't want to share too much of that. I think there's only one or two lanes. I can't go high. I have to stay out from underneath the press. And I've been training a particular move very, very hard, which I think is his only weakness. So we'll find out shortly.
Now, who else is part of this 8-man that you were a little worried about? Is there anybody else that gets you a little worried?
Charles Puri is a great arm wrestler. He's a New Zealand. I think he's number 2 in New Zealand. Good top roller. Always dangerous. Who else would there be, Matt?
Matt, who is that? Is that one of those giants you were telling us about? The guy from New Zealand?
Everyone in this field is a giant, Brett included. Yeah, Charles Puri has been pushing against Matawaringi Hedemorris for years, and he's sort of been sitting in that number 2 spot. And Matawaringi's always had sort of the big opportunities in the spotlight, and Charles is right there. He's right underneath Matawaringi, and he's really pushing for it. So we really wanted to give him the opportunity to showcase his skill set. And yeah, everyone in this field has the opportunity and the ability to win it. So he's a monster coming over from New Zealand. We've got Marcus Atirai, who's another giant who's over 300 pounds and 6 foot, I don't know, 6'5", 6'6" or something. Yeah, he's enormous as well. Trains with Ryan Bowen and Lachlan Adair up in Brisbane. There is some absolute killers in this field. Ryan Bowen, of course, will be in the field. Rickard Bornman is looking to defend his title. Charles Puri. It's a lineup of absolute warriors in this. It's the biggest possible guys we could get. We're throwing them all into the mix and seeing who's going to come out.
Yeah, Big Marcus could ruin someone's day, because if you get in a battle, he's so hard to finish. So I'm hoping to stay away from Marcus.
Yeah, but do you have experience pulling everybody in there, or is there somebody that you haven't actually faced and have no idea?
No, if I haven't pulled them, I've watched. I've been studying.
Okay.
But honestly, it should come down to Ryan Bowen, Rickard, myself, and Charles or Marcus. I think it'd be those four.
Very nice.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. But the fun thing is that we get to showcase and spotlight some of the best pullers that have been in Australia and in New Zealand and this region of the world that maybe the US and European audiences haven't seen before. And it's like, these guys are top level elite guys that have been around, as Brett said, like 17 years. And to sort of be able to get them on the international stage and say, well, have a look at these guys because they're absolutely incredible, and hopefully get some international opportunities coming out of this as well.
Now, how do you train for, an 8-man event like this? Like, is it different than, your normal just getting ready for a super match? Is there something that you got to do? Do you have to work on the conditioning? And I mean, I know you got 17 years of experience. How many of these like round robin or 8-man events have you been a part of?
I would say this is my third round robin, I think, but I'm known for endurance. So if a match stops, I'm happy. If I'm 10 deep, I tend to get better and better. Unless my hand really gets fatigued, I'm an endurance puller, so I'm happy with more and more pulls.
Yeah, this the power when Brett is on the table is something to behold. I was refereeing a tournament that we had that Brett was competing in, and it was him and another very, very strong puller, Lachlan Carpenter, and they were both against each other. Oh, you know Lachlan Carpenter?
Yeah,
Awesome.
he came out to Washington State. I got to meet him over there. He did very well over there. He came there with Mario Tambakis a couple years ago.
Yeah, he's a fantastic guy and a super strong puller. And so he was lined up against Brett, and I was refereeing. And man, I had my hand on both of their forearms while I'm trying to get them lined up, and the force that was coming in on that setup was like, oh my God, I hope this table doesn't like just rip it up. When I said go, I had to like step back because I thought, if they slip, I'm going to get punched in the face.
Now, Brett, what's your weight at? Are you an actual super heavyweight or are you a heavyweight?
No, I'm pushing my weight up as high as I can now. I'm about 108, but I'm an actual 100 to 105.
And what is that in pounds, Matt? Do you have any idea?
220, 230.
230.
Okay. So who is the king of the super heavyweights in Australia? I know Rickard is probably, the top. Who would be right behind him as the next super heavyweight?
It's Lachlan Adair.
Yeah, definitely.
Is he he's an actual super heavyweight these days, or is he more of like a 242 kind of guy?
Yeah, he did
drop down.
Me. He's the same as me.
Okay. So you guys don't really have too many super heavyweights, because I know I was in the Reddit group and, I posted a video up and I was like saying about Brian Shaw versus Rickard and how would that go? And, Derek Smith commented on there and he goes, yeah, that makes no sense. Rickard is number one in Australia. Why would you put Brian Shaw up against him? I'm like, you are aware Rickard's only in 1 year, and what other super heavyweights are in Australia to judge off of that? And I'm like, you don't think Brian Shaw would come in there and be at the top of the level as well? So am I wrong with that? Do you think Brian Shaw would be a problem for you guys over there? You have supers that could go up against a guy like that?
Brett, you can answer that if you want.
It's Brian Shaw. I've met the man. I think I'd shit my pants getting on the table with him. But his training looks legitimate. Like if you watch Eddie Hall, it looks awkward and uncomfortable. If you watch Brian Shaw, it looks fluid. It looks like he's getting somewhere. I think in 6 months, I don't know about now. In 6 months, he could be a big problem for everyone.
How do you think if it was today, if he went up against Rickard, how do you think that match would go?
I think he'd put himself in the wrong spot and Rickard would smash him. Like you have to hide from some of Rickard's power. If you can't outmuscle some of his moves, you just can't do it. So unless he got out of it, he'd lose.
So I got to ask
Wow.
you this, bro, before, Don Hollywood joins us and everything. How do you think that match is going to go January 25th? We have a legend, of our sport, Don Underwood. He's 30 years experience and all. And now we got this young phenom, Rickard, that's coming in 1 year in. How does this match turn out?
My opinion, I haven't seen Don Armwrestling in a long time. I don't think he can out top roll Rickard. Rickard's a freak up top. I think if he does his homework, there is a way through. But if he goes in too confident, I think he'll lose.
Wow. Well, this is going to be
And
good. I can't wait to see this, man. This is, definitely this kid Rickard. I'm just hearing some amazing things about him, and just to really take it in, and just 1 year in the sport, and he's already doing this much and making so much of a stir is just wild. And Brett, yeah, I'm really, really want to see you and him going at it, and then to get a double whammy, right after the 8-man event, we get to see you guys square up left hand. And I hear that's your dominant hand. So
no.
what's your probability? Give us like a percentage of you taking home the win with that left hand in your head.
I'm pretty confident.
Give me a percentage. Like if you had to put it on, what do you think you are to win?
Left, I reckon I'm about 90%.
Oh,
Whoa.
90. Right, I'm saying I'm still, even with a small injury, I'm still 50-50 because I've done my homework. I know what I have to do. There is an option. There is a way through.
Okay. Well, I'm loving the confidence with the left, man, and it's going to be a good one. I want to say a few shout outs to a couple of guys that just joined in the chat. We got Tall Paul. He says, howdy, y'all, Mr. Paul in the Hollywood. We got Luca in the house. We got our man Ryan Grandin over here from the 98. We got Throttle Villain. What's up, fellas? Mystery Man in the house. He says, Rickard is going to 3-0 Don mismatch. Wow, okay. There we go.
Wow. Yeah,
a lot of confidence with Rickard coming in and everything. Can't wait till Don joins us and hear what Don's got to say about all this. He's probably listening right now, and he probably wants to get on here right now. We also got Rio Salvatore from Louisiana in the house. What's going on? How is he getting out there so fast in 1 year? Can you answer that, Matt?
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, he's just one of those genetic freaks that just happens to come out, and this is what's fun about finding people that find arm wrestling. The very first pull that we noticed him was him versus Terence Opperman, who is a South African legend. And he was pushing Terence Opperman, and I think it was his very first go at arm wrestling. It's like, how does that even happen? And then he came along to one of the training sessions at Brian Bowen's club, the Kingpins in Brisbane, for his very first night, and he was pushing the absolute top guys, and it was his first goer. Like, he didn't know what he's doing technique-wise or anything. He's just so powerful. He's obviously a natural athlete. I mean, he's a rugby player, a professional rugby player, and that's what he's in Australia to do. Unfortunately, he has an injury, I think it was his hamstring or his calf or something like that, which has sort of held him back a little bit. But he, in the meantime, has found arm wrestling, and he's been able to apply all of his athletic training and skill and strength into that sport as opposed to rugby. But yeah, he's blown past the people that we have in that level. And he was training with Ryan, I think 2 weeks ago, and Ryan said, how much do you actually have to use, like, percentage wise, to pin me when I'm going 100%? He's like, how much do you have to use, Rickard, to beat me? And Rickard said, to be honest, Ryan, it's probably 60%. So it was like, that's just a freak of nature right there.
Brett, can you explain, like, when the first time you gripped up with him, like, what did you feel? What did you notice about him? Does he have a big hand? Like, is the hand insane powerful? Like, what was your reaction of everything with Rickard?
I've got to admit, I haven't had the chance to train with Rickard. It was just the comp. And I was at a certain theory of the whole comp that I was relying on for my style. And I did the same thing with Rickard and just sat under his press and it didn't work. So I haven't had the chance to train with him and try and find holes and see where he's strong. But his hand doesn't feel, like I felt way worse hands in the setup. But I've never seen anyone like Lachlan Adir and myself. We were both pretty lucky. We started and we had arm wrestling talent. Like we could just do it, but not like this. But this kid's elbow is steel. He could just go sideways from anywhere. My elbow would tear itself in half if I did what he does.
Where do we think he's gained that side pressure from? Because I was expecting you to say like his hand is like enormous or something, and he had like a genetic gift or something.
No.
Wow. So what do we think that, he's developed this side pressure? Is it something with rugby? Because I don't think even rugby is going to really translate over. Is there maybe like something else that he does or?
It's a gift that he could press from anywhere on the table where most people's elbow would just explode. He could just apply this stupid amount of pressure through his elbow joint and he's fine. I don't get it.
Rio Salvatore, he's asking super match or tournaments. I guess he's that was it to his other question about how did Rickard get out there so fast in 1 year? Was it that he took on a bunch of super matches, or was it his tournament awards? Like what was that really stood out?
I think it was the his first night with Ryan Bowen that really stood out. I mean, Ryan made a video on that, and it was him and Lachlan Adair just sort of shaking their heads at how this guy was so strong, and his first go at it really. And from that, I think Ryan really sort of pushed him into the stratosphere of social media. We had AWE 2, which was an event we held here not here in Adelaide. I'm in Mumbai at the moment, but in Adelaide we had AWE 2 where he took on Mario Tembakis, and so we used that opportunity to try to promote Rickard as much as we possibly could. And although Mario was able to get the win there, Rickard was still looking very dominant in certain positions and certain moments throughout the match. He's such a humble young man and so personable that it's very easy to like him. So I think that he will be able to build a fan base very easily. And from there, he went on to win the national title. He's had matches against Mario Tembakis since then and beaten him in tournament formats. So he's just risen, I'd say, naturally through his performances, not only through the training table, but through super matches and through national tournaments as well.
Yeah, so he's an all-around kind of guy. And Captain Maj says, after Khalid, we all a bit reluctant to get excited about a new talent from afar. What do you guys think, compared to Khalid and all? But the only thing is with Khalid, he really wasn't all in. He kind of was like just putting one foot in, and then he started going off and going with the MMA. And, so I don't know if he's as dedicated as Rickard is right now. It seems like, Rickard's going all in. He's taking this for real. I know he also is a rugby player, but because of that injury, it's kind of got him 100% into the arm wrestling world. So, I think that might be a little different there. And what's your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think with Khalid, that he probably didn't have as much sort of that humble side, that personality that Rickard has. You talk to Rickard, he'll thank you 100 times, and be just so grateful to have the opportunity for anything to do with sport, anything to do with arm wrestling. I think that it was a little bit of the opposite with Khalid. I think there was maybe a language barrier there, but I felt that there was some slight arrogance from Khalid, which may have hampered him a little bit from people being able to get behind him, support him. But obviously, he's a very strong man. But what do you think, Brett?
I think Khalid his hand is off the charts, but he didn't have all the other things. Where Rickard can top roll with the best of them. His hook is right up there, and his press is so he can do everything. Where Khalid had the hand, but not really the horsepower or the technique to back the rest of it. So he was still elite, but not even in the same park.
Brett, would you say that Rickard's table IQ is pretty high for a beginner, or does he still have a lot to learn?
I think he can just naturally do everything. Like I really want to dislike him, but he's such a nice kid. It makes me sick that he can just do everything, and he's strong everywhere.
Well, I really want to see him get out on the international stage and all, and just see like how he does with some of the other big super heavyweights in the sport. You know, a lot of people are saying like James Lee saying he wants to see Rickard versus Khalid. Tol Paul is saying he wants to see Rickard versus Brzezinski. Got to happen soon too. So I mean, you know, they're throwing him right into the deep waters right away. They want to see more of this guy for sure.
I'd love to see what happens when someone does find a way through, whether he's table IQ, then that's when I think you'll see his table IQ. He can do everything when he's winning, but when someone finds a hole, probably in a couple of weeks' time, hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, then I want to see what he does. Like, I think he's got all the tools to still come back and win, but I think that'll make it interesting.
Do you think possibly what could be happening right now is that he's just so much stronger than everybody, like just he's got this natural strength. So, you know, when he gets into like a harder match, he kind of just powers through them. And then, you know, maybe if he finds somebody that's equal as powerful, you know, then we're going to get to really see where he's at with the, you know, technique and all.
Yeah, of course. That's how we all get tested, I suppose, when someone can beat you at what you're good at, and you have to find another way.
Tol Paul says, hopefully we see Rickard in more interviews leading up to the match. He might have some on-point trash talking skills too, laughing out loud. Well, Tol Paul, we were going to actually have him on tonight, but, you know, he's working today. But we're in talks, and we'll definitely, Matt, if we can, you know, if he can't make one of the Buzz Show hours, maybe me and you will just do like a special time, and we'll get him on the channel. And, you know, I think people want to, you know, maybe you could poke him a little and get him to talk some trash and all that. But he's such a nice guy, man. Anytime I've had a conversation, I just find it hard to believe he's going to be trash talking, but maybe we could bring something out in him, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't even imagine him saying anything detrimental to another person.
I did see him get in Bowen Contado's face in a match.
Oh, right? Yeah, in a match, yeah.
Yeah, in a match. He can still get excited on the table.
And who's this other guy that we just mentioned? What's his name?
He's an elite left-hand puller in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah,
and,
they had a match.
Big dude. He's another monster.
He's probably 100 kilos, just under 100 kilos. He had a match which was on the AWE Underground channel with Rickard, and Bowen does like to talk trash, and especially during the match. And yeah, he was saying some stuff like in the middle of a pool, which Rickard responded to a little bit and had a good laugh at certain moments. There's a particular moment which I can't say the words that came out of Bowen's mouth, but it's very funny. Well, I found it funny, and even in the edit, I couldn't stop laughing every time I watched it. So that's on the AWE Underground channel. If you have a look at Rickard Bornman versus Bowen Contado, that's a classic moment.
I think Bowen regretted those words, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because Rickard flogged him.
Well, Brett, I want to hear more about you, brother. I want to hear, like, who is somebody in the arm wrestling world that has inspired you and kind of influenced your journey as a competitor?
Definitely John Brzezinski back in the day. Like, I've been watching arm wrestling for 15, 16, 17 years now, but it's always been John. I pulled John here one year at Arnold's, and he made me feel that week that I nearly pulled out of the tournament. I'm like, I'm not going to enter. I don't know what's wrong with me. Then I won the under 100 both hands and the open both hands, and John just crushed me like I wasn't there.
Wow. Who else, like, is it John's style that, you know, is it like similar to your style, like when he goes inside, or?
Yeah, he hooks very similar to me. I can't do the top rolling as well as he can, but we do pull well. I think we pull similar in the hook. But I've been one of those pullers that have just specialized, you know, I'm good at one thing and I just try and do that as well as I possibly can. So I'd love to be able to top roll. I just can't make it work.
What's some of the exercises you do to develop that strong hook that you got?
Like I said, I've got a cable cage at home at the table. So I've got a wrist wrench. I'm just working all different angles from those cables all the time.
And like, is there anything like, are you into like wrist curls or the like, what's real key for the hook? You know why I'm asking is I'm trying to really, become a hooker with my stature and everything. I've been top rolling and all that, but I just really want to get that inside game, and I got this like huge forearm and I just want to put it to use. And also that's why I'm trying to pick your brain is, how can I become a great hooker?
I think once you set the hook, I pronate really heavily at the bottom. I've actually posted some videos on my Facebook page. So I do a lot of a belt through a pulley with a lot of pronation, kind of the hooking movement with a lot of pronation at the bottom. So I find if you don't pronate hard at the bottom, it's very difficult to finish a hook.
If we got Drew 24 in here still, can you please share his Facebook page so we could check out these videos that he talks about? And, as soon as I get off here, I'm definitely going to go and take a look at them and, definitely save those. And next time I'm in the gym, start working that for sure.
So
yeah,
I do most of it at home on a table with a cable cage. If I'm at the gym, I do a lot of wrist work, a lot of that kind of stuff, but it just doesn't translate the same.
Okay. And Drew says he doesn't have Facebook, or else he would. If anybody else could share his Facebook, that would be great. Would really appreciate that. And do you have any YouTube channel or anything?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Just Facebook and Instagram.
So let me ask you, is there maybe you should get more out there on social media wise, especially with this 8-man event coming on? And if you beat Rickard, man, I think your name is just gonna go viral. And I think you need to capitalize on that and get out there. And if you can't handle the social media, I believe Matt is on top of that, and he's starting his own kind of social media agency kind of thing. And maybe he could help you out with that. But I definitely want to hear more about you, brother. And especially if you get this win, that is going to be huge for your career, man.
No, I'm working hard for it. So I've got wins on Ron Barth back in the day. I've got a few big wins that not too many people have heard about anymore. That was a while ago.
So you need to start sharing those on Facebook before October 27th. Now that we got everybody going to be checking out your Facebook, don't be so humble, man. Let's get that out there. Let's see those matches against Ron Beth. Let's see you guys, that pin on Bowen and all that. And people want to see these and really get to know who you are.
Yeah, the fun thing watching Brett on the table is when he gets a stop, he looks like the most calmest man in the world. Like, it's just, the other person is giving 100%. They're working, trying to get any sort of thing going. And Brett's just like, looks like he's just standing there watching TV. He's so calm and relaxed that at no point is there any strain on his face. And then he would just roll through for a little pin. But we've got a guy in our club at the SA Titans, Taryn Broad, who is a very, very, very strong hooker. He will be in this tournament as well. He had a super match with Brett maybe 12 months ago now. And I was helping Taryn get ready for that match. And when he would get in the hook position, I had both of my arms trying to stop Taryn, and I couldn't stop Taryn's hook from pinning me with both of my arms. And I thought, man, the amount of power that he is generating, this is insane. And then Brett just rolled through him like so comfortably. I could not believe how easily he handled the power that was coming from Taryn. I was like, that is just so next level. It was mind blowing.
Now, Brett, did you always have this power, or is this something that you developed over the 17 years on the table?
I was naturally. The first comp I entered was in a place called Sabah in Malaysia 17 years ago. And I was I was only 80 kilos, but I'd always been good at it. And I won their national comp, never armwrestled in my life. So I always had a hook, but I've definitely worked on it. Like I reckon I'm about 20, 30% stronger than when I versed Taryn.
Wow.
Ooh,
And
God.
Tall Paul, his last name is Brett Coutts, Coutts. So, if you can, maybe share that Facebook page for us, because, we want to get him out there for sure. And then Tall Paul says, wonder who made Brian Shaw's arm wrestling training contraption on his front bumper. That's actually really cool, and I'll definitely use it. So does anybody know that in the chat, or do you guys, have you seen this contraption that Brian Shaw's got? Matt, have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I hope it's not Andrew Wood.
Oh my God.
You'd never get one.
Yeah, right. For real.
What is it? I haven't even heard of this. This is the first time I've heard of it.
If Tall Paul, is that the one where it's like it's kind of like a spinner, a multi-spinner, and it like spins on the inside or something? I kind of remember seeing it like a couple months ago when he first came out. I don't know if that's the same one you're talking about, or maybe he's posted some new video out or whatever. I haven't really been staying up to date with it and all. But what did they have a big match coming up? Is it he's going against Eddie Hall or something? Is that locked in? When is that going down, guys?
I think that's the rumor at the moment. There was. I think we've talked about this a couple of times of what would be the potential first opponent for Brian Shaw, and I always had said, like, it's not going to be one of the top guys from the arm wrestling world. It's going to be somebody with a very big audience, with a built-in audience to get the most attention. Because if you've got the world's strongest man and he's a giant and he's personable and he's got this enormous built-in audience, he's not going to be going against somebody that is unknown to the rest of the world. And, maybe they're popular in the arm wrestling scene, but he wants to get maximum exposure. And the first time he steps on the arm wrestling table in a competitive sense, it's not going to be against somebody that we're familiar with. It's going to be somebody that the mainstream is going to be familiar with. And Eddie Hall is the ideal choice. He's, the exact same category as Brian Shaw. I mean, he's coming from World's Strongest Man. He's a giant. He has an enormous mainstream following. The two of them together, everyone in the world can look at arm wrestling and go, yeah, I understand what's going on. You don't have to know all of the rules and everything. It's just like, he's trying to get his arm there. He's trying to get his arm there. It's very simple to understand. So from that aspect, I think it makes a lot of sense. Maybe in the future after that, you might see Brian entering a couple of tournaments or something like that, because that shine is going to be a little bit diminished after that first match takes place. Because once that first match is there, that's where all the eyes are going to be on him. After that goes, the interest is going to drop a little bit.
I think Larry Reels would be better.
I think so too.
Eddie Hall, I think it's going to be disappointing.
Yeah,
very disappointing. But I think Larry could be it would be interesting.
The only thing is, I'm not too sure that Larry's still arm wrestling. I seen a couple, videos out there saying that he was done with arm wrestling, and I think he was kind of getting scared with all the different arm breaks he witnessed, and I think it kind of, discouraged him or something. I'm not 100% sure, but that was the rumor out there. But Donka's Arm Wrestling says Brett is the only person I felt where I needed more bicep. Wow. So they're talking pretty highly about your inside game, bro.
Yeah, that's Taryn. That's who I was talking about before, where I couldn't hold him with both my arms, and Brett just rolled through him. It was unbelievable.
Wow. I wish we could share some of the video. We need you at your headquarters, Mero, so we could see some of this video and all that. But yeah, when are you back at home and all? You're there for another week, or?
Yeah, I'm here till the 23rd of October, so still got about 11, 12 days or something to go. But yeah, hopefully we'll get lots more content. I'm not sure if you've seen any of the stuff we've been putting out on Ryan's channel, and just some of the daily, going around Mumbai and eating the food here and training in the gym and meeting with all the arm wrestling fans and stuff that have been absolutely incredible. We've done meet and greets, and the you get, this is kind of weird, but they have been sort of treating us like we're celebrities in a way. It's very, very humbling, and I'm not sure how to handle it. It's kind of strange, when people are coming up saying that they've watched everything that you've done, and they're a huge fan, and this is the happiest day of their life getting to meet you, and it's like, it's, you sort of get taken aback by it. It's like, oh, thank you, nice to meet you. It's just, I don't know what to say.
I mean, you guys are the big deal, bro. You guys have been doing your thing. I mean, you guys are out there for real. I mean, obviously you are. That's why Propanja brought you two out there for commentary. And, I mean, so it's for real, bro. It's happening, man. And I know if you came to North America, you got a huge fan club out here. I know everybody at Knuckles Up is dying to meet you in person and all. It's like begging you to come out here, bro. So, yeah, you're living up to that name, bro. So don't be so humble, man. It's happening.
It's so strange, though. I don't know. Have you experienced that, like Brett or Paul? Like, you've been somewhere and people have come up and they're a big fan, and it's very strange.
I have a few times, and it is weird. We're not used to that.
Yeah, it is definitely, it gets kind of crazy, man. Like, I've went in different states and travel around, and I'll come like a day or two before, and I'll be like, oh, I want to go hit a practice, and then next thing I know, 100 people show up at practice, and they're driving 4 or 5 hours, and I'm getting out of the car, and they're taking pictures and videos, and I'm like, yo, this is nuts. And then people want your autograph, and I'm like, just kind of like scratching my head. I'm like, yo, I'm just a normal arm wrestler here, guys. Like, nothing special, but just I guess being a social media presence and always being out there, people start feeling like they know you, and they've been connecting with you for a long time. So it's pretty cool. But I mean, it's same thing, like watching all you guys and watching Ryan Bowen and meeting up with him. I mean, I know him for so long now, but it's just when we all come together and hang out, it is a cool thing. You're like, dude, I've been watching you since day one, since in the sport, and getting to meet you guys in person, it's really cool thing. So definitely for sure.
I had when I was in Ireland for the Arm Gods event, I was just walking up to go and meet a couple of the guys at the pub, and this couple was walking towards me, and they were obviously there for the event, and they've gone, oh, and they've recognized me and come up and said, oh, hey, Matt Connolly and stuff, and I was like, yeah. So can we get a photo? And I'm like, yeah, of course, absolutely. And then when the guy had put his arm around me to like take a photo, I could feel he was like trembling. Like, it was really strange.
I'm glad you brought up the arm guides, because this question kept coming to my head, and I keep forgetting. We keep getting sidetracked, and I wanted to know: did Brett ever pull James Wall? Have you guys met up in a match yet?
No. I'm not sure. I don't know.
He's a really, really strong hooker, and that would be an absolutely incredible match to have the two of you go against each other. He's probably one of the only guys I've seen that can flash hook pin somebody. Like, he's so fast on that hook start. It's like it's almost like a press, but it's a hook, and he's unbelievable in that.
Right, you need to check him out, brother. This dude has 100%. Really, really impressed me. Every promotion he's on, he like practically wins match of the night. You know what I mean? And he just had a war over at Knuckles Up 4, and he went against Craig Toulier, and he lost 3-2, but it was definitely the match of the night. And he did the same thing at the Arm Gods match. It was just amazing. And that was the first thing when I'm hearing how good your inside game is, and just looking at your stature. He's kind of like the same build, and he's like, you guys could both compete in bodybuilding and probably win, on stage as well. So that's one of those that just hit me, and I'm like, dude, I really would like to see that matchup, and maybe AWE one day can make that happen. That might be something possibility that, the fans would like to see. And I'm curious to hear what the chat thinks of that match. What do you guys think about Brett Coutts against James Wall, potential match in the future at an AWE event? Definitely let me know that. And Drew24, he goes, yes, Matt is an actor too. He should do a couple roles in India. I was thinking Evil Mastermind or something. So you got to come an actor now too, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, where we here are in Mumbai, Abhishek, who is sitting in the next room. I'm in the Propanja headquarters at the moment. He said that Mumbai is sort of the capital for for Bollywood stars. He said New Delhi is where most of the sports sort of things will happen, but Mumbai is like the Bollywood region.
Very nice. And Shannon K says, there's no point nonstop talking Brian up. I like the guy too, but look how he arm wrestles. He hasn't even grasped the concept. People need to give him more time. Brett, what's your thoughts on that, man? Because, I kind of thought that he kind of was getting it pretty quick, where Eddie Hall was kind of lost looking.
Yeah, Eddie looks like he's just not doing it at all. Where Brian's moving on that table well. He's moving that handle the right way. He's dragging. He's moving his elbow. I think he's grasped it really well.
And Richard says, it's a badass thing to finally meet people you look up to in the sport or people you talk to on here every week for the past 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Richard, for sure. And Tall Paul says, think you're underestimating Brian's sheer size and way above average strength, laughing out loud. If Rickard can do it, don't you think Brian can too? What's your guys' thoughts on that, man? I kind of think he's just that big and that strong. He's going to be a problem for most people. That's, unless you're an elite level arm wrestler with some technique, I think he's going to present a lot of problems that people probably aren't anticipating just with the size of his hand. And, how much does that dude weigh? I mean, that dude's got to be high 300s, right? He's a monster.
Yeah, he's 200. He's nearly 400. He's 190 to 200 kilos. So, but his elbow integrity, Rickard can just go sideways on his elbow joint and you cannot sit under it. So unless Brian can top roll or can drag out of it, he's in big trouble.
Yeah, he's almost a bear. It's like going against a bear. He's just a giant, humongously strong, powerful man with a massive hand. And yeah, I think he would beat a lot of the guys that have been arm wrestling for a long time just based on strength. But yeah, his technique, obviously he needs to work on that. But it seems like he's working with the right people and he's doing the right things to bring that up as well.
What do you guys think of Shaquille O'Neal? We've seen and heard that this dude is just like freaky strong. We've seen him, he beat Ian Carnegie on the television show. They were back a couple of years ago. Devin looked like he had to really put in some work to beat him. And I remember Devin saying that was the strongest dude he's ever felt that was a non-arm wrestler. And that's kind of like where I would think Brian Shaw is, somewhere around that level. They're just, their levers are just so long, hands so big. And I mean, these dudes are athletes to begin with. So they got to have, strength. I get it, man. There's, it takes a couple years, it's probably like a 3-4 year process for you to start figuring things out technically on the table. But just like kind of like we're talking with Rickard, 1 year in, I think Eddie's just so damn strong that he can just power through people when he's in trouble. And just because he's so much stronger than them and there's such a strength gap, it's really hard to beat guys like that. So, I would love to see Shaquille O'Neal get in this shit one day, man. Like that's another dude I really would love. And, maybe like a Devin could possibly pull him in, but just seeing him beat that Ian Carnegie, and I know Ian was kind of like embarrassed that day on there because I don't think he expected that, but what do you think, man? Like, a guy like Shaq, you think that would present some problems right away off the bat?
I think that would be incredible to see him jump on it. I know that Shaq sort of loves jumping into combat sports. I mean, I've seen him do some jiu-jitsu stuff. I've seen him do the arm wrestling with Devin on TV shows. And I mean, the guy's, he's like just a monster of a man, and he could probably dominate 90% of people, regardless as to whether they've been arm wrestling or not, just because he's so powerful, so big, so strong. But I would love to see him get involved in the sport. I think with Shaquille, I think he just likes to sort of dabble with things, and he would sort of jump in and try some stuff and, do it for a little while, and then he'll try something else and do that for a little while. So I don't sort of think that he would jump into arm wrestling full time and be like, this is my next thing, I'm going to become an elite arm wrestler. But I think that you might be able to get 1 or 2 matches out of him if you presented it in the right way and gave him the opportunity. I mean, even him versus Brian Shaw would be something. It would be fun to be exciting. I don't think that Shaq would be jumping into that straight off the bat. I think he'd probably want to have some time to train and figure things out first.
He's one of those guys I look up to in business as well. I mean, the dude is just one of the best entrepreneurs on this planet. I mean, he is just buying up everything. He owns a couple hundred businesses. It's just amazing what he's doing. Very smart guy. I actually got to meet him like 4 or 5 times personally. He used to, when I lived in South Beach, Miami, there was this park, Flamingo Park. And, I used to live there all the time playing handball against everybody. And it was right next to the basketball courts. And he would just roll up and he would come and play with the public. He would just come and hang out and, play basketball with everybody. Really funny dude, really humble guy. It was nuts to me how he would just come and hang out, for a few hours too, and he had never turned anybody away if they wanted an autograph or, he would talk with everybody like he wasn't special or anything. It was just really cool guy. And, he, just like you said, he would try out everything. They actually let him be one of the cops in the area, so he would even sometimes show up in his uniform and you're like looking at this dude that's worth like, probably like $500 million. And, he's driving around in a cop car and all this shit and playing cop and all that. That was pretty cool. But I got to bring into the room. We have a legend backstage right now. And I'm going to bring him on here right now. We got our man, Don Hollywood Underwood in the house. What is up, Don? How are you tonight, brother?
Fella? What's good? What's good, everybody?
We are
Hello.
so happy to have a legend like you on here, brother. Thank you for giving us your time. And
Appreciate you.
You're gonna have to fight with Matt over here for the nickname, man. We've got 2 Hollywoods in the house, bro. So
Whoever has the best abs can have it. What do you say, Matt Conley?
All right, we're gonna have to pull the pants down right now. No.
Wait a second. I'm not sure what abs means in your country, but that is not what it means in the US.
I thought you said ass, not abs.
There's that little gap in southern draws, if you will. Abs, A-B-S, plural.
I might have you on that, Don.
Hey, listen. Hey, air and opportunity, young man. Air and opportunity.
Don's looking good.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Monster.
wow.
You got some crazy abs, bro. And what's your weight at, bro? You're a big boy to have some abs, man. What do you got? Some implants put in there? Some shit?
280.
Wow.
Damn, 280 with a 6-pack, bro. You ain't playing over there.
Yeah, getting it done. Check out the Pain Planet, man. If you guys ain't checked these out, guys, you got to look into these. These are sick. Got some handles
what's the name
going
of that,
on.
bro? I've been seeing that out there. Who makes that?
Jody Harper, Jodey Harper, Harper on Facebook. This guy's just taken off. He sent me a bunch of handles. He sent some to Brian Shaw, sent some to Devin.
Is that the contraption we were just talking about? Because our man Tall Paul was asking what contraption is it. I think that might be it. Is that it, Tall Paul? Is that what you were talking about?
Full hand.
Okay, and he's got a few different handles, or is that the main
yeah,
one?
he sent me 4 of them. So I'm going to strap up to this. So my thumb goes in, and I literally grip it just like I would another hand. Now, I got my pulleys are all downstairs. So whether you rise or whatever pressure you want to do, and then I've got a couple of handles that you can adjust for pronation, supination. I got some, man, they're really cool. You guys need to look into them. We're going to be doing some tutorials on them with the team here in Kansas City.
Now, people want to order them. Should they be contacting you to, get connected?
No, get a hold of Jody Harper. Promo code Hollywood will save you $10. Oh, nice. And, like I say, every dollar counts. I don't know what they cost. He was kind enough to donate these to me. And I'm going to be doing a lot of pushing on them. I think they're pretty awesome. They've got small, medium, large, extra large, and I think they even got like super large or something. But Pain Planet Arm Wrestling, check him out. Like I said, it's Jodey Harper on Facebook. He's just a startup. So he's got him to some good people. We've got some really good responses so far. And again, we just did a couple small Facebook shots and we did some Instagram things, but we're going to run the team through them. And then I'm going to be bringing them to some locations like the World Series of Arm Wrestling coming up here in November. And going to have some people try him out, do some videos for him. Because again, he was kind enough to donate this to me. And I apparently sent it to a couple other celebrities. And yeah, we just want to make sure that we do our due diligence to let him know how much we appreciate him. So thank you, Jodey Harper. You rock, brother.
I've been sleeping on it because my man Richard's been sending this to me for the last year, he just said. And he said that he has 8 different handles that you could pick from. You don't live too far from me, and I get those to see him at every tournament. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. Now I do remember you sending me that, man. I've been sleeping on it, bro. My bad. I didn't make the association right there. But yeah, I got to get me some. So Jodey Harper, if you're listening, or Richard, get me connected. I'd love to try them out.
Yeah, he's listening. He shot me a message, Jodey. Thank you. I just got the new buckles tonight. So, you know, this is trial and error, guys. We're working on some stuff. He's got some of the orange plastic clips. They're a little fragile. He is sending out some metal clips, or giving you the option to get some metal clips. They're pretty inexpensive, but it'll be a lot more durable. These things can hold some weight, man. A lot of fun. Like I said, a lot of pressure in the fingers, and it really eliminates that, hey, I got to find someone to practice with, because it does give you the option to clamp down with your fingers and do different rolls and some really cool stuff. So super impressive. Like I said, different sizes, small, medium, large, extra large. And I think he gave me the extra large ones, and they might have some even bigger. If you've got like a massive hand, like a Jeff Dave or something, they'd have to, I don't know, figure a new mold out for that dude's paw.
Tall Paul just said, yeah, that's the one, the attachments he was hooking to some kind of pulley system on his bumper. Hard to explain, but that's one of the attachments Brian had. Very cool. So they even fit for Brian, man. And Brian shows a pretty big dude. So that's a good one. And Aaron Costello says, good to see you, Don. Looking good, man.
Yeah, really putting the work in, guys. Table time's limited. Trying to do a lot more gym time. My lifts are incredible. Like I said, my weight's down at 280, really focusing on health and fitness. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we can all be arm wrestlers, but, you know, you want to be healthy. And the older we get, the tougher it is to recover. And, you know, by doing the volume and stuff that I'm training, I call it sure training, super high rep. And it is difficult to learn and to get into. But once you change the life, it's like becoming a, you know, long distance runner, marathon runner. It's you don't breathe heavy, and you're doing crazy lifts with big heavy weights, but instead of 3 sets of 10, you're doing 3 sets of 100 or 2,000 reps on arms. And, you know, it's making a difference. And now that I'm actually competitive again in arm wrestling, I've just got to learn. And these Pain Planet handles are amazing, because you can't float your elbow and load a bunch of weight on it. So you really have to drive down pressure. And as you guys know, I got a little bit of problem of lifting my elbow. Power's there. Really, when you set into that table and you become part of it, you're super, super strong. As soon as you let that up, you become floating. I lose about 50% of power. So I lose a lot of these matches because of my own fault. But I'm working on it. And like I say, these handles are making a tremendous difference on setup. So I'm really happy to have them.
Well, Don, I want you to meet our fellow special guest on here tonight, and this is Brett Coutts. He's been in the sport 17 years, and you two guys got something in common. You're both got super matches coming up against this young phenom, Rickard Bornman. Now, I really suggest that you tune in to the AWE October 27th, you know, because you need to get your homework in for Rickard, because we know you got your big match going against him January 25th at Knuckles Up 5. And this was all set. This was a surprise to me. During the halftime at Knuckles Up 4, all of a sudden the big screen comes on, and there's Rickard from Australia, and he's calling out the legend Don Underwood here, and Don was not hearing it, bro. He was calling him son and kid and all this. So kind of catch us up on that. What's your thoughts of this young phenom coming up, man?
Well, there's always young phenoms, and there's tons of strong arm wrestlers out there. I mean, ultimately, he's running into somebody that's on a real strong comeback. I may not win, but I'm always in the fight. There's some tremendous talent out there now, and he's just another one. Like I said, win or lose, nothing's easy when you cross my doorstep. It's not somewhere you want to be. So him calling me old and wondering why I'm still in the sport, well, he's going to find out real quick just how old I really am, because I'm just as fast and as strong as I've ever been. So I look forward to the opportunity and the challenge. He better come smart. Like I said, I mean, I can pull a lot of different ways, and I'm doing a lot of different changes, trying to get my strength to really couple up the percentage. I pulled Carl Stanley recently, felt like I was stronger than him, made some mistakes. Again, very long time since I've been in a super match. So when you're not in those and you pull with weaker opponents in your practices, you get into some real bad habits. So, figured out a few things during the losing process and came back and made a match out of it. And Carl's on his way again too. So, but these young guys, man, they're tough. I look forward to the opportunity. I don't think anybody's going to run through me. It's going to be a real tough day just to beat up this old man. So it ought to be fun to watch. Win or lose, we're going to put on a hell of a show for him.
Richard has a question for you. He goes, is Don going all in again to go for a run to the top?
Yeah, it's like this, guys. Wherever I end up, I'm the voice of the World Series of Arm Wrestling, but commentating is my future. I want to compete at a very high level, so I train tremendously hard, 2 to 3 hours a day, and I put the work in. So I want to see where I can, plateau. So my intentions are to commentate and then pick up some matches and hopefully get back into that elite level, because the work I'm putting in, you've got to see some gain. It's too much on the body. My recovery is becoming much faster now. All my blood work is amazing. Like I said, everything is just on path to be great again. This time I'm doing it sober and clean and focused, and it's just a different life, and I'm loving it more than ever. I wish I'd have figured this path out a long time ago, because it's just a different world, man. You see clearly, you can see that. I see these young guys coming. And like I said, I'm not just sitting on the couch waiting for them to show up, man. I'm in here putting the work in. So cardio included. So I expect to, put on a pretty good show. And like I said, I don't know nothing about the guy. I don't go out and do a lot of research, and I don't watch film. That's just not what I do. I'd rather not know anything about you and just get in there and do my thing. But I will respect you and watch that match. I'm anxious to see how you do. You've been in 17 years, man. I'm surprised we haven't crossed. So,
yeah, when I started watching you back in the day, but and you look in better shape than I've ever seen you. But I would study a few things Rickard does, just because a couple of them are surprisingly unstoppable. You don't want to go there. I think you've definitely got options. I don't know which way you pull predominantly anymore. Can you go everywhere?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I'm dead set in the hook as long as I don't act like it's the 14-year-old kid that I play with on Saturdays, and that's what I did with Carl. I just, I'm used to just letting people drag me outside. Yeah. But if I sit down and get in there, if I wedge in, it's hard to move me. Yeah. So it's just bad habits. Like I said, I know I've heard he's strong. I'm assuming you're prepared for this guy and ready to go. Tell me a little bit about what your plan is of attack for this guy, because you've obviously done some homework.
Yeah, I've done a lot of homework. I normally sit, as you said, out like that. I can sit under 99% of all presses in Australia. I can sit under him. I wasn't even close to sitting under his press, so that was a big mistake. I need to knock him off center, so he can't. But he can get behind his press from out here. He can be way outside shoulder and still get behind a serious press. So, without giving too much away, I need to knock him off center and off his side of the table.
Yeah.
Which you'll have to wait and watch and see if it works and exactly how I do it. But I've been training a very particular move that I believe is the way through.
Well, I'll look forward to seeing you do that. And I got lucky enough to train a little bit with a big gorilla called Corey West, and he likes to lay on me too. And it's the same challenge. Bump them outside the shoulder, square them up to the table, get them out of position where they're not comfortable, and then turn it on. get them in a disappointing position. So, yeah,
Do you mind
I'm
if I
excited. Man. Good luck.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are now?
Say again.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are now?
Yeah, I'm 52, man.
Okay, I'm 47.
Yeah, we're right there together.
I tore this pec once, this one twice, and I've just torn a lat all in the last 18 months. I got to train smarter.
Yeah, you're lifting too heavy. Slow down the lifts and increase the volume, and you'll get big with that, and you ain't gonna tear nothing off. I'm doing 20 pull-ups at a time right now,
Yeah.
and my plan is to do probably 100 every other day at least. I've increased a lot. This next 3 months is going to be intense. I plan on coming in anywhere between 265 and 275, shredded probably around 8 to 10%, and going to be lightning. Power is going to be incredible. Hand is steel. Fingers are strong. It's going to take somebody with some dominant power to get in there and do something. And you know what? God bless him if he can. Like I said, we always like to see good talent come up. And if I'm in the way and they can move me like that, then, man, they earned their way through this door. But one thing about it is it's never easy jumping on the table with me. And that's the fun part. Being the best in the world at one time was cool. But I'll tell you, having the opportunity to pull these guys and learn some of these, you walk in and they're like kind of fanboys, and then you turn around and they're clubbing you in the head, wanting to knock you out because you're in their way. And that's cool. I enjoy that. So I get on both sides of the fence when it comes to, being a commentator, being a fan, and still being potentially a very high-ranked arm wrestler. So I'm looking forward to the opportunities.
Let me ask you, Brett, how is Rickard in the straps? Is he better in the straps or out? I'm just trying to find out some things for Don, trying to pry a little, get some info on Rickard.
My style's probably a little bit different. So I definitely, if I get a strap, I think Rickard's in trouble.
Okay.
But I think that's the key to dragging him outside his arm and his shoulder as well. The strap's definitely going to help me, but my hand's probably not at the level Don's is.
Now, how do you plan on getting that slip initially?
There's always a way.
Okay. Don,
So
now hearing that, brother, do you wanna get to the strap, or do you wanna, not let him in the strap and control the hand?
You talking to me?
Yeah, Don.
I'm gonna just go. I'm gonna try to rip his arm off. I care less if I get strapped or not. We come apart. It is what it is. I got no intentions but bad intentions for anybody across from me on the table. I don't try to get nowhere. If strap's good, I'm just going to load my back pressure. I'm going to sit down on my lat. Things are changing. Like I said, I've got one of the strongest drags in the world. If I can get set, I mean, it's just bad habits I got to get out of. So I'm on the same page with him. I get what he's saying. Get him on my side of the table. Use my big muscles against his small muscles, and we'll see what happens. Like I said, my speed is probably going to be a lot for him to handle as well. It is for most people. So yeah, it should be fun, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing you two get after it. So that'll open up a little bit of thinking and preparation on my part as well. So
yeah.
What have you been doing to work on, keeping that elbow down? Is there anything that you're specifically working on, or, you're just going to go at it and that handle right there, that's the key, huh?
I'm telling you, man, just grip it up. And like I say, you set the cables all the way to the top. You put 100 or 150 pounds on it. It's down pressure, and you're not going to be able to move that floating your elbow. You've got to set in, lock everything, and then core power over. So yeah, it really is tremendous. It's helping me a bunch. You do that 1,000,000 times before you get on the table with somebody. You're probably going to do the same thing. And that's why I'm trying to eliminate some of the practice habits and going to practice as much and sit down here and do the things that I need to do and just do it. When I start to blow up and feel like I'm sick or I'm done, it's really when I get started. So it really, truly is a marathon every time I train. I mean, I don't keep very many training partners because it's too much for most people. But, it works for me. Like I said, I'm just an old dude trying to swim in a pond of young fish. And that's why I'm putting the work in, man. I figure if I walk in the room and I'm the biggest, strongest, and prettiest, and somebody's paying attention. So
We got a question from John Boy. He goes, let's get Aussie match thoughts on Rickard versus Don and Brett versus Rickard.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're both very exciting matches, and this is why we wanted to put them together, especially seeing where Rickard's left hand is against Brett. We know Brett is a phenomenal left-handed puller. He's been proving that for years and years and years. He's not only fantastic on his right, but he really is very dominant on his left hand. So it's going to be a question of, I would say that Brett has the favorite status. And it's like whether or not Rickard can prove his worth on left hand as well as right. Obviously, we know he's incredibly powerful. He's up and coming on the right hand, but it's like, well, where does he sit on the left hand? Well, we've got the best possible opportunity for him to prove that against somebody like Brett Coutts. I'd say that Brett is the favorite in that, but I haven't seen a lot of Rickard's left hand. So it'll be interesting to see if he has the same level of power and elbow integrity on his left that he does with his right going into that match. And plus it'll be after the tournament for both of them. So whether or not what happens throughout that tournament, maybe one or both of them get in a war, and by the time they get to their super match, they could either be both, previously exhausted. So there's a lot of questions going into that. And then the match, obviously, with Don Underwood, we were very excited for that because, Don is a legend of the sport. He would probably say, considered the best in the world at one point in time. And he's on a comeback at this point in time. He's coming back from some surgery, from some time off, and he's looking phenomenal. He's got the abs going, and he's got his foot all the way in to arm wrestling again. And this is going to be an opportunity to see, well, we've got a rising star versus a guy who's making a superstar comeback. And I don't see a loser in this match. I see that this, from both sides, is just going to be highly entertaining because, if Don wins, it's like, well, he's back. He's got it. He's still at that elite level. And if Rickard wins, it's like, well, he's going to continue his rise in the sport and then look for the next challenge. So very excited to see how it plays out. And it's like a 50-50 match for me with that, which is always the best scenario when you don't have when you look at like Devin and Leonidas, it's like, well, it's a squash match. It's obviously Devin's going to win that. And it's kind of, why would I even bother? But with this match, it's like, I don't know who's going to win. And that's where it's fun to watch because you're not sure how the outcome's going to be.
Yeah.
We got a nice comment from RHCP. He says, Donnie Hollywood biggest challenge was Lorette years ago at Arnold's. Donnie buried Lorette's arm and denied the pin pad so violently for the win. Can you tell us about that encounter with Devin and all?
That was the end of that was at the Arnold's in 2010. The first time I won the Arnold's. I've been blessed to win it twice. Devin took third that day. Ryan Espy took second. I actually pulled Devin day one and ended up fouling out with him in a stalemate match. Really good post-match back pressure. And I sat back and did a ton of climbing with him. So day two, when it came around, we both had a loss. He fouled out against Espy. And he got up there and Devin's cocky as they get, man. And that's one of the things that brings out the best of me when he gets on the other side of the table because I can't stand cocky people. So especially when they're rude, I reach up and touch his hand, and he acts like he's some sort of god of something. Don't touch my hand. Listen, I'm not really a nice dude when it comes to if you disrespect me. I mean, I will headbutt you in your face, and I will step on. Oh, I'm that dude. You understand? And that's where I got. Second day, he started that shit. Well, I acted like I was going to hang run with him, and I just busted straight side. Caught him with a parallel pin and went on to was able to grab Espy, let him hit, sit down on it, pull him over. I smiled, man. Tears came. It was a pretty special day. So never forget that one. That was the first. Started climbing, hit the top of the hill, beat him again, as you guys seen on top of the MGM Grand with Arm Wars. Unfortunately, had a lot of politics involved in that one, in my opinion. So you guys have seen it. There was a ton of the best arm wrestlers in the world will all sit there and tell you that I was the best arm wrestler in that building that day. And there was a ton of them, from Rich Lupke's, Tim Bresnan, Travis Bagent, Michael Todd. I mean, on and on and on. And if you go on there and pull up Sin City Arm Wrestling, you'll see me beat Yoshi Kanai, actually tear his bicep tendon that day. That started it and really blew my arm up, warmed it up properly. Went into Travis. Travis had nothing for me. So it made it easy. Once I got to Devin went through Tim Breslin and Rich Luppies. He kind of toyed around and played a little bit and got a little fatigued. Well, I wasn't. So he danced around a little too much and ran into a buzzsaw, and he found out what it's like to get beat up on. So I did not like Ryan or sharing that win with him. I thought I dominated him. But again, I don't feel like it was meant for me to be that day, and I accept what it is, but sure is a fun match to watch. So I encourage everybody, go look up Devin and Don, yellow shirts, night, top of the MGM Grand. If you ain't seen that match, that's one of the greatest matches of all time. So.
Yeah, John Boy says Don pinned Devin 400 times in that match.
Yeah, I counted 13, but 400 sounds good.
And I got to ask you this, brother. So I know you went against all the top in the world. You were the top guy. And who is like your nemesis? Who is the guy that really stands out and you've had just so many back and forth matches? Would it be Devin or would it be more Travis?
Travis was if you want to get down to the nitty, Travis stylistically was just a bad matchup for me. We both set up the same way, and I would just set up in his lane. And it was later on in my career, from say 09 to 14 or 15, right around Game of Arms, that I figured out if I just square up to the table a little bit, I would just completely dominate him. And by then it was a little late. I fell in the hole and made some bad choices and took some time off. And then again, like you said, ended up going up, getting healthy, getting some surgeries and finding my way back here. I'm still pretty beat up, man. I fell in the military in 95 and my back is just all sorts of messed up. So I'm at the chiropractor a couple times a week and my pain level's high. So it's a little tougher for me. So that's why I'm really focusing on losing the weight, getting healthy. The less I have to peck around, the less my back is tightened up. So I'm trying to figure out a solution to this and stay in this sport because I love it so much. And I believe that I do have an opportunity to be great. Even a disabled person can be the best if they put the effort in. If you can deal with the pain and have a program. So don't ever think that there's a disability that gets in your way. Believe in yourself, believe in training, and always work hard. Like I said, talent's one thing, but you've got to work to be the best. If you don't work at it, talent's only going to get you so far. So I've done it with talent. Now I'm going to put the work in. So I'm challenging myself, my age. I'm fighting all these things, these young guys. And, man, it's so much fun. Like I said, to walk in and have the best body in the room. Well, unless you're there, Paul, that's a tough one. So, but I'm working. And I got my cowboy hat. I almost put it on tonight. I got Cody Johnson on Saturday, so I'm all cowboyed up.
Nice.
So
So
this might be the most muscular panel we've had.
Let me ask you this, Don. Can we ever hope to see a Travis and you match again, man? Because I think you guys are pretty much at the same point. You're both on that comeback. You both want to get back on the elite level and all.
Travis is a bum. Listen, trust me when I say this. That dude's weak sauce. Hey, listen, he can't pull nobody over. We just messed around. Did anybody see the Hard Knocks on HBO? Did anybody pay attention to that?
No, I missed that. All my friends, actually my neighbors out here, they all know that I hang out with Travis, and they were like, "Yo, we seen your boy on there and all." What happened? Fill us in on that.
So, all right.
And hold on, let me just explain so everybody knows what we're talking about. He's talking about the Chicago Bears. They followed them around, and they were doing kind of like a behind the scenes with everybody. Tyson was on it a bunch of times. They had the new quarterback, Caleb Williams, which hopefully Tyson takes his spot eventually. But I was telling everybody about it. They all know that, they've seen Travis at my house and all. And, I'm always gassing up Tyson Bagent and telling him how great he is and how he's going to pass everybody. And they all know the arm wrestlers. So I have like everybody in my neighborhood in California watching this show and everything. And they all came to me. They're like, dude, all your arm wrestling buddies were on. And I was so mad. I missed that one. But then I realized they were in Kansas City. Travis threw an event over there. And of course, Don Underwood, that's his home turf and all that. But I didn't get to see or hear about that match. So can you fill us in what went down now?
Real easy to find, man. It's online. It's on HBO Max. It's episode 4 of Hard Knocks preseason with the Chicago Bears. We had a super match lined up. We was doing a preseason showdown. So the Bears were coming to Kansas City in preseason. The last game of the preseason, play Kansas City. So the Wednesday night before, the athletes get about 4 hours. So we decided to put an arm wrestling tournament on Wednesday. Travis, of course, it was his idea. Me and Ryan Johnson got on board. We went 50-50s with him. We all made a little money, had a good time. But picked him up from the airport, and he goes, hey, you got to lose no matter what. I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, first of all, there's no way you could even beat me. And he's like, blah, doing his whole Travis thing. He goes, no, dude, seriously, man, you have to. Hard Knock is going to be there. Well, I already anticipated that. I told the bar owner, I said, don't be surprised if Hard Knock shows up and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, HBO show, there's cameras everywhere. This little bar called the Blue Line here in Kansas City, it's a hockey bar. A buddy of mine, Steve Stiegel, owns it. Great dude, decides to let us come in there and do it. Well, we put on a little bit of a show, but I told Travis, listen, I'll do this for you, but we're going to really arm wrestle in my basement. And I took him downstairs and laid the wood to him. So, yeah, I mean, he can listen. Travis is an entertainer, man, but he's going to have to figure something out because, yeah, he's going to run into some trouble in the amateur division, no less. So,
wow, shots fired. Oh, man.
And that's my boy, man, but he better figure something out. This shit, whatever he's doing ain't working. But no, hey, for real. HBO Max, episode 4, Hard Knocks preseason with the Bears, 26 or 28 minutes in. If you don't want to watch the whole episode, go like 26, 27 minutes, watch it to 35 minutes. They end up micing us up on the field Thursday night at the game. Man, it was just amazing. Like I said, I'm used to cameras being around. Travis Bagent is a superstar. I mean, honestly, he walked in the Chiefs Stadium and people were rushing to this dude, man. Wanting his autograph, wanting pictures with him. Wouldn't left alone. We're sitting there with HBO, sitting there with the cameras in our face here at Arrowhead. And, man, there was a line of Bears fans coming up wanting to do autographs and just everything under the sun, man. Travis has done some great things. His son is an amazing athlete, and his opportunity will come. That dude's for real. But, as far as Travis arm wrestling, hey, listen, I encourage him to get back here and work his ass off because, like I said, I always enjoy the challenge. But if y'all really want to see that match, we can set that up. Let's put some big money on that shit.
Hell yeah, I'd love to see that. And yeah, guys, I got to go to a bunch of the football games with Travis, and each game that we went to, we were the only ones that had the Tyson Bagent jerseys at that time. They weren't even out for the public, and we would roll in, and that's all you would hear. And they're like, yo, that must be the arm wrestlers over there, so it's like it's doing great things for our community as well. All these Chicago Bear fans now all know about arm wrestling and all that. And as we're talking, I'm just showing, I just got a collection of all Travis Tyson Bagent cards. I got a bunch of autographed ones. I've been collecting all his rookie cards. I got 2 1-of-1 cards in different companies and all, and just I think I got probably about 150 cards now. And I got his jersey. I got that autographed. I got footballs. I've been really getting that because this kid is going to be the next phenom. I could tell you that 100%. He really puts in the time for real. And we got a super chat from Big Grove Goats for $2. He says, Don, have you done stem cells? Share your thoughts, please.
Share my thoughts. Let me share my thoughts.
Okay, we got a stem cell coming. What's that? You got to go to the side a little.
I'm retarded. Okay, listen. Why doesn't it work?
Is it? What's the name of that company? I see right there.
Why doesn't it work? I don't know what's
Your
wrong.
chest is so goddamn big, bro. We can't
Yeah.
see it.
It says Atlantic Stem Cell Therapy, and this is Michael Moody's company. If you guys don't know Michael Moody, Atlantic, listen, that's some weird shit. All right, look, I'm figuring it out.
Okay. There you go.
Atlantic Stem Cell Therapy. Yeah. He's one of my sponsors. I have not done stem cells. He has talked about it. He wants me to do it. I'm on the fence. Like I said, man, I'm in such good shape and I feel so good right now. I just really, if I'm going to do it and I'm going to get the sponsorship, I really want to find some damage somewhere. And I don't feel like right now that I have a bunch. So.
You Don, you got to get them, bro. I mean, anything that you've ever had surgery on, and especially if you're sponsored, brother, just go do it. It just bulletproofs everything. And I got to do the exosomes on both of my arms where I had the surgery. I did 4 shots on each, and I mean, it does wonders, bro. It definitely does, and something I definitely recommend to everybody.
Well, I'll tell you, if you don't know who Michael Moody is in Atlantic Stem Cell Therapy, he is doing some, let's call it some pro bono work. There's a veteran. He is really into helping veterans. I'm a veteran as well. But there's a veteran with cancer, and he started doing the exosomes on him and the stem cell therapy, and because the doctors didn't give him long. And all of a sudden, his numbers started going backwards. And the doctor's like, well, we can't explain this. So I actually got to see, and I was on site during some of this. I don't know what happened. Look at that. Did I move my screen? Oh, I did. I'm not real tech savvy, if you didn't know. It's all right. But, Michael Moody, Jacksonville, Florida. Just an outstanding human being. Really cares. Put on a heck of a show called the Barnet Maple. He's going to do that again next year. There was 50 vendors there. There was a speech that this guy put on about the American flag. This former veteran. It was in a white dress whites, and just got me, man. It was one of the coolest speeches ever. So if anybody can make it out next year, Michael Moody. It's called the Barnet Maple. It's got a car show and a bunch of other things along with it. This guy gets $500 first prize for each class. He put out so much money, and he really cares. And he's actually an arm wrestler too. So got his hands in a bunch of stuff. Stem cells is one of them. So Atlantic Stem Cell Therapy, check him out. Give him his due, man, because like I said, this guy does a lot for people. And
do you have a code or anything that our subscribers can use to get any kind of like discount, or how can they acknowledge that they're coming in through Don Underwood?
Man, just use Don Underwood or Hollywood Don Underwood. Michael do his best to take care of you. Like I said, I mean, he's a trustworthy guy. You get out there, you just never know. He is really proud of what he gets. I know that there's some other companies out there. There's some names out there that I'm not going to talk for Michael. I'm just going to mention his company name. And if you guys reach out to him, I think you'll know some of the people that he's associated with, and you'd be comfortable using his product. He's very happy that he's got some of the top stem cells in the world. And, that's really cool for someone to go out there and just not try to get some fly-by-night stuff to make some money. He seriously wants to see the benefit from these people. And like I said, he's great to me, and he don't have to be. I met him one day, and we just kind of clicked, and now we talk. And right now, I think he's over in London or something. He's with his wife, Renee. She's fantastic as well. But, hey, man, quit buying all that Creed cologne, man. You're showing off too much. He's got, like, all the Creed colognes, and he's putting them on his dresser, and it's irritating me. So I guess somebody bought some stem cells after all.
Hell yeah. And I got to tell everybody, I truly believe in the stem cells. At first I was a little skeptical, but after seeing so many people getting treated and, watching the journey probably for like a year and a half, and, I really got to see the benefits, and I got to do it myself. I didn't have any nagging injury or anything. I just wanted to bulletproof both of my arms where I had the surgery. But after watching so many of these guys that have been arm wrestling 40 years, 30 years, and having these nagging injuries for like like, decades. And then to see them, it took a while. It was a good, like probably like a year of consistent treatments and all for some of them that were a little more extreme. I seen it really working. And because of that, me being an entrepreneur, I started, really, getting involved. And, VitaCell is the company that I worked with. And, I kind of came like a broker with them and all. But I'm kind of taking it to the next step now. I contacted a couple of doctors in New York. I've been telling them about it and kind of showing them my journey and all. And, I'm in the middle of working on opening a facility in New York, so I'll be out there in mid-November. I'm going to be sitting down with a couple of these doctors and kind of just going over everything. And I hope to have something up and running in 2025, just another place where, a hub where people could stop in if you're on the East Coast or whatever, and we could get you guys healed up and all. But, I support all the stem cells. I don't know Atlantic yet, but I'm definitely interested. But I truly believe in stem cells, and it's something I could get behind because I've seen the results on so many people. So I just wanted to make that clear and put that out there. And then we got a question from Armwrestling JD. He says, any up and coming arm wrestlers coming out of the Midwest? And that would be for you, Don.
Yeah, I mean, there's some talent. We've got a really big hub here. Carries Ryan Johnson, Bowles, and Austin Tevis. Austin Tevis is probably our most promising up and comer. And then we've got a handful of really good arm wrestlers. We've got a couple really young kids that are showing that are going to be an elite level in the next 2 or 3 years. So Kansas City is definitely going to be noticed if they're not already. A lot of amateurs, semi-pros, and I mean, we're deep. We're probably 150 arm wrestlers deep within a 75, 100-mile radius of Kansas City, and they all tend to come up. Joplin's got a little bit. There's a tournament every other a weekend down by the Lake of the Ozarks doing some ranking matches and stuff. So little hubs all over. But all in all, Missouri has got some real good talent. But Kansas City, best talent right now is Bobby Bowles and Austin Tevis, John Jennings, Ryan Johnson. Some good talent here. Some people that could show up and really you wouldn't know who they were, and they'll bust you up. So those are the best.
I gotta say, man, the guy Ryan Johnston, bro. I've been watching him for a while now, and I know he throws that BMF tournament, and I noticed the level of awards that he makes up, and it is just next level. Makes everybody just want to go and compete and win one of those trophies that he's got. Some really, really cool ideas, and I know he puts out a lot of money and a lot of his time and dedication into the sport. So definitely shout out to Ryan Johnston doing great things. And then you also mentioned Austin Tevis, and I like that dude, bro. That dude he's fun to watch. He's got the character behind it. He's kind of got kind of a Don Hollywood swag going on with him. You can tell he's around you, bro, for sure.
That's my number one dude. Like I said, we've got so much talent. Speaking of Ryan Johnson and the BMF, it's October 26th is the finals, and the BMF is it's just mimicking the UFC. So what Ryan has done is gone and got replica belts, left and right hand of these UFC BMF belts. And man, they are so cool. And yeah, Ryan will spend $10,000, $12,000 on awards, and like I said, I mean, it's more of an amateur semi-pro. A lot of the pros just want the money and the run. But I mean, these new guys, to have these cool awards, Ryan really puts himself out there. He also donates a ton. Over the last 7 or 8 years, he's probably donated over $100,000 to the SAFE program here in Kansas City. So he's one of the good guys. Like I said, I align myself with people that look out for the sport, not necessarily just for themselves. And that's the way that I've been for a long time. I can be mean, but when it comes down to it, I'm a family man, and I only want the best for the sport. Even when we was in the elite council, there was 12 of us, and there was a couple people that wanted rules changed to benefit them. And, I'd argue that it was about the sport, not about one person. And, you just got kind of pushed away because of, somebody's status at the time. And it's unfortunate. That's why I walked away. It was just ridiculous because it never was about the sport. It was about one or two people. And this sport is amazing. If we'd all come together a little bit more, it would be more mainstream. But everybody wants to say that they're king of the castle and their own politics and all this BS. Nobody's going to tell me where I can arm wrestle. Nobody should tell you where you can arm wrestle. That's just the way it is. If y'all don't like it, too damn bad. We've been doing this shit a lot longer. You guys would be in the sport more than likely. So it really pisses me off.
Amen to that, brother. I'm with you 100%. And another thing that I want to make mention to everybody out there, all you organizations, promoters, and all, Don Underwood is the man of commentary as well. Not only can he arm wrestle like a legend, he is the man on the mic, bro. And I've experienced it myself. I've hired him at a couple of my events, and I mean, he just made it so the energy was just absolutely lit. I remember that event we did over in Oklahoma in Tulsa.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh my God, bro. So much fun there, bro. And so guys, definitely if you guys need that legend commentary and somebody that's just gonna get the event popping, this is your man. Hit him up for sure. Let's get him active out there. I've also seen him at Washington State. He brings the fire on the mic, bro. I love it, man. So definitely want to see more of that as well. And I just got to ask you this one question, man. Where do you put yourself out percentage wise from, the old peaked out prime Don Underwood? Where are you today?
I wish I had the answer, but the sport has evolved so much and everybody is so much stronger. It's really hard to gauge because they are tremendously stronger. So I think I'm a stronger version. I'm faster. I'm a smarter. But again, you have to step back and learn how to arm wrestle properly in order to do it now, because everybody's smarter than I am. I know every part of the table, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I can utilize, that technique in any given moment. I can always go back and go, I should have done this. I should have done that. But, I'm definitely primed to be a top 5, top 10 arm wrestler. I doubt very seriously I would ever step over into that pool of crazy to try to get to elite. It's just not that important to me to kill myself over arm wrestling. Like I said, I want to be healthy first, and I want to really enjoy it. But I think I'm a match for anybody. 5 up. Corey is probably the toughest at this time. He is climbing that ladder. Tim Bresnett, I don't know where he is. I know he had some shoulder stuff. I'd really like to have that match if he's going to continue to pull. I'd love to pull him for his spot. Chance Shaw, all those guys. I think anywhere from me to about 6 or 7, you're talking about fractions of percentages of strength difference, and it really is technical and tabletop stuff. So I think I'm right in the mix.
I want to ask you a little sensitive question here. So, if I'm overstepping and you don't want to answer it, I fully respect that and all. Are you willing to go all the way as far as are we going to take pancakes? Are we coming in there ready to do what we got to take to get to that next level?
Well, I think that's that next pool we were talking about as far as doing things that are crazy or, something you would press your body or your health to. I've been on TRT since 2009. I mean, there's no secret. That is something that, guys have to do in order to continue to move forward. Just stay healthy, good supplements, vitamins. Like I said, I don't know how, you hear the term pancakes. I mean, we all know it's gear and everything else.
Well, I don't know if everybody knows because Ryan Gronin just said, did someone say pancakes? I think he's getting hungry in the chat over here, bro.
Man, he's a good dude, man, for real. No, it just is what it is, man. I think everybody can do their own thing. Like I said, as far as putting your own personal stuff out there, man, I think everybody has their own cocktail of what works for them. And you start giving away your secrets, you might lose a little bit of advantage. But staying healthy first. Like I said, I'm all about vitamins. My test levels are good. My doctor says I'm healthy. My blood pressure is great. We're just going to keep moving forward with that. But, yeah, I'm not going to take no crazy steps and try to grow a third leg or do some crazy thing like that. Yeah.
Captain Obvious says Don versus Derek Smith. What do you think of that match?
Yeah, Derek's good. I mean, I'm open for that. Everybody's been talking about that for a minute. I mean, it makes sense. Derek's strong. I'm strong. I'm faster than him. I think I'll get him in a bad position, but he's powerful. Yeah, but it definitely doesn't scare me at all. I like that. I like that long lever. I'll top roll his ass in a hurry.
let's say you get this win against Rickard Bornman, January 25th. Who would you be calling out after that? Who's on the hit list? I know you mentioned a few names, but who would be the one that you'd be calling out?
See, that's the difference, man. When you get to my age and you've walked that road, you know, you hear the little bull said, "Let's go down there and bang a heifer," and the old man, you know what I'm saying? Let's walk down there and bang them all. It don't matter to me. Like I said, matches will come. Talent is sitting here. Everybody's going to be looking probably for me. Like I say, win or lose, if I'm in that match or win that match, or even if I lose that match and it's a battle, you know, it's going to open up doors. This big guy over here, man, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing him pull Rickard as well, and maybe we can cross paths. I mean, I'm always up for some good heat and great matches, stuff like that. So,
Brett, what's your thoughts on that match, man? Would you like to take on a legend like Don Underwood?
100% any time I'd be for it.
Oh, Matt, you hear this, bro? We might have to get Don out over to Australia for some AWE action over there.
It'd be absolutely a pleasure to have the Hollywood man himself come all the way over to Australia, and he would be treated as royalty as he should be.
Well, I know you guys can take care of me, and like I said, I'm always up for a good match and a good time. Like I said, man, commentating solely for World Series of Arm Wrestling right now. We've got some reality projects coming up, so guys, pay attention. Greg Sharp's doing some cool stuff. He's got the house he's already casting for. So if you haven't heard about it, look up over at World Series of Arm Wrestling or Greg Sharp's page. You might be able to be a reality star yourself. So be cool to see some of you guys from Australia come over for a month or two. And if you're able to do that, I know that, Matt, you're traveling a little bit right now. So you might consider getting in the house. And I think it's only 3 weeks. It's Wednesday through Saturday, I believe, 3 weeks in a row in the Riverside, California area. So
I'd love to do it. If it was possible, man, I'd be doing it.
Opportunities there. They're casting now. So I would reach out. Like I said, we'd love to have some guys from AWE and some of the guys from Ireland. And it would just make sense if we want this thing to go. He's got the streaming network up right now. You know, he's doing good things, man. Like I said, I'm super proud to be involved with World Series. I'm his national sales marketing rep and commentator. So going to be a little tough for me to do some commentating right now. I've got contracts with him, Ryan Johnson here in Kansas City and Arm Sport Entertainment solely. So anybody wants me to commentate needs to contact Greg Sharp. He owns old Hollywood right now. As far as the commentating, I'm wrestling, and nobody's going to tell me what to do with it. So.
Yeah, we're going to have to do a follow-up. I want to get Greg on here. You know, we had him on a couple months back, and, you know, he kind of was telling us all the plans, but I actually seen that post, I think it was today, you know, and he was talking about he got the big platform and all. So I definitely want to get an update from Greg. So, Greg, if you're listening, brother, definitely would like to have you on in the next couple of weeks for sure. And, you know, I've been hearing about the house for a while. You know, I took a little break from arm wrestling. I had to get my head refocused, just started training bodybuilding and all. But he was definitely encouraging me to go out for the cast and all. And, you know, I'm making my comeback January, going to start hitting tournaments really hard. So I'm definitely interested to hear when the house is going to be up and running and all. And I'll definitely be reaching out to Greg and anybody else that's looking to try getting on this reality show and great opportunity. Definitely go out for that casting, man. Greg is definitely taking this sport to a whole nother level and really should get behind him and support him for sure. 100%. Well, I want to thank you two for coming on today, man. You guys are a great special guest. I really, October 27th, Brett, I'm really wishing you the best of luck, bro. I would love to see you, you know, kind of shock the world and be able to overcome this young phenom Rickard and just see where it would take you after that. You know, we'd like to see you going against some of the international guys and all that as well. And then, you know, I know that Don's definitely going to be tuning in with his notebook and pen and taking some notes and, you know, see if he could see some lanes as well, because he's got his big match again, January 25th. Knuckles up 5. Don is making his big comeback over there. So everybody, let's get behind Don and let's encourage him to put in the work, because we want to see him back on the top stage for sure, 100%.
Good luck, my man. Listen, hey, I'll be watching. Go out there and shock the world, like you said, and I plan on doing the same thing, man. Hey, maybe you win, I win. We figure this Australia thing out. So let me know, guys. I appreciate it.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, guys.
Right. Is there anywhere else that people could check you out other than Facebook? I know we're going to work on you getting out there on YouTube and getting a little more out there, but is there somewhere where people can message you or anything? Where is the best place? Just
Facebook and Instagram. I got to do some work on it.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Brett, thank you for coming on tonight. I really appreciate that. Don, shout out to whatever social media platforms you wanna hit right now.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, we're old school. I've got a guy that's supposed to have a producer come over here and start a TikTok thing. Apparently, that's the way to go. Working on that. He just hit me with it last week, so I don't know where it's going to go. But waiting on this. I don't know, camera guy, producer, whatever they are. It's a pain in the ass. I've been there, done it. It is what it is. We'll see where it goes. But like I said, man, mostly you're going to see me with World Series of Arm Wrestling commentating, talking about all you studs. Go out. The guys, I'm telling you, Greg Sharp he's got a platform for us. It's televised. It's a good place to be. It's a good place to start. Like I said, just being involved in the World Series, the lead up to the finale coming up November 2nd has been tremendous. The talent is wow. That's all I can say. It's incredible. Next year's already posted. So get on board. Like I said, he's got Thursday night arm fights coming up. That's going to be on Fubu Television. He's got the house. He's already on there. Just if you want TV and money, Craig Sharp, why aren't we supporting this dude? He's doing everything that everybody wants. And yet we get 40 or 50 arm wrestlers showing up. I'm shocked. So spread the word. World Series of Arm Wrestling pays real money, gives television, celebrity opportunities, guys. Hey, it's pretty cool being a celebrity. Matt, you're starting to figure it out, man. I've been doing it for about 10 years now. I still show up, and, man, people pay me to come in. I'm a cheap date. Like I said, I'm about the arm wrestling. I'm not going to try to rip your head off. But, yeah, if you want me to come do some arm wrestling, let me know. Flight, hotel, and a few dollars in my pocket, we'll get it done. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram right now, guys. God bless. Good luck, Paul. Always a pleasure. You Australians, keep that accent. Remember, it's abs, ABS.
Love it. All right, fellas, have a great night. All right, now we got a couple more guys coming on right now. I want to introduce them. We got the man of the 98%. We got Ryan Grondin in the house. Oh, we got our man Dan the Nightmare, and he's got another big thing coming up that he wants to fill us in. I think it's all going down in Montana. I think they got another reality show or something. Or fill us in, brother. We want to hear all the details about this.
Yeah, what's up? Thanks for having me back on the show, man. I'm so happy to be here. So Montana, we're going to be going, we got a couple of guys from the Northeast area. Me and Steve Fernandez have organized a group of guys from Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, upstate New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. And we're going to go take on pretty much every weight class there is in existence. 11 weight classes, every 10 pounds, and the women's weight class for a super match series October 26th. And what we're going to do is, outside of it, it's going to be more of a reality show. We're going to document the entire journey. We're all taking a ride up to Steve Fernandez's house. We're taking a party bus from his house to the airport, which we're going to live stream. We're going to record it. We're going to live stream and record, well, not live stream, but we're going to record the flight, take some clips from, the flight and the shenanigans going to happen there. When we land we're going to Bozeman, Montana, and we drive about 2.5, 3 hours up to Great Falls, Montana. So we got like a lot of downtime that we're going to be capturing some, entertainment with a lot of different personalities. Myself, Roger Learned will be there. We got Garrett Tupper, Sam Mitchell, a couple other, big local names that haven't had the opportunity to get on stage or get on screen, and they're going to get exposure on my channel, on Steve's channel. And, we're staying at this beautiful mansion, a 2-story mansion with a hot tub, jacuzzi, Pac-Man, game room, fire pit, you name it. And then Friday morning, we're going to actually hit up the hot springs up in Montana and just chill there, hang out. We're going to have weigh-ins and a face-off. Bless you. God bless you. Sorry. We're going to have weigh-ins and face-offs. We're Friday night and a little bit of a podcast to kind of break down what, a little mini press conference, if you may, with all the competitors. And then Saturday night's the big show. Saturday, it's going to be a nighttime show. I believe it's going to be 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So that's going to be a little later in the evening. So everyone can watch from the comfort of their home or when they're out and about with their friends and family. And we're looking forward to connect you guys, the audience, with the pullers. That's one of the things I think we're lacking. We've seen a little bit of it here and there, little pieces here and there, but we want to have real time, in the moment, hanging out, living with a bunch of strangers that we're not real strangers, but we get to see these people at tournaments, but we don't see them, interact with each other outside of tournaments, right? Or outside of practices. We're going to actually be living, breathing, and hanging out with each other and, getting to know each other on a very personal level. For me, I get to talk a little bit about my recovery journey. I am in recovery. I'm 10 months clean today. And so this is, thank you very much, man. It's been a hell of a journey. And I get to talk a little bit about my weight loss journey as well. And, that's one of the ththings, there's going to be a guy who, a father and son combo that's going to be out there. There's going to be a guy who broke his arm and came back, who's going to be sharing his story type of deal. So people can really connect with individuals. Say, hey, wait, that could be me. I can be on that stage. I can do something like that. Because we go all too often, we see Devin Loretz and John Brzezinski and Levans getting the highlights, the highlight reel. Well, why not the guys that are in the middle that are, working their asses off to try to get to the top?
I'm excited to hear this, brother. And Drew just shared your link over to your YouTube channel and all. So I encourage everybody in the chat, go check out Dan the Nightmare. They're doing great things. Dan's got his own show. I think he does it on Facebook on Mondays. It's really starting to get some traction. I was on there a couple of times. They had Steve Fernandez as a co-host. And, these guys are really doing it. Steve's putting a bunch of events together. Almost every month he's got something going on. And, now they're connecting with other guys across the country. I'm really happy to see that. I think it's Countrymen versus the City Slickers or something. Is that?
Yeah. So originally it was going to be City Boys versus Country Boys, but we wanted to include some females because that's one of the things that we're seeing is that there's a big push to drive and a big drive to get more female arm wrestlers out there. So we got Madison Walker representing the female division from the tri-state area, and we are we call it Country Folk versus City Slickers.
Very nice, bro. I'm really excited, and I'm upset, man. I got invited. They wanted to pay for the flight and hotel and get me out there. And unfortunately, on the 25th, I sponsored another event in my other business world, and I got to be there. So it would be hard for me to fly in, that day and all. But next time, man, 100%, I would not miss this. I really want to be a part of it. I'm hearing so many great things. Looks like a great time and all, and I can't wait to see all this footage and the whole lead up, the whole trip there. I think that's really key to really gaining everybody's interest in all the matches and just getting to know all these guys. And just like you said, bro, it's not all about the elites. You're giving other people a platform to get known out there, and that's where we find the next stars, the next characters and all. And I know you have a big super match, and tell us about that guy, because he's been on my radar. This dude is just he is like the one line king, bro. This guy just he's got the mouth behind him, he's got the whole look, and I really like him a lot, man. So kind of fill everybody in about that match.
So Kevin Playboy Roy, this guy's quite the personality and character, like you said, right? He's definitely got that WWE persona. He quotes and loves Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's a bit of a loudmouth, and he's been kind of sitting at the top of the mountain, so to speak, over in Montana. And I'm looking to dethrone him. He's got a lot of side pressure. He's a hook puller. I've seen him do some top rolls in a strap, but from what I see, he's got no hand. So it's important to mention that all of our super matches have a $500 wager on them. So I'm looking to take that $500 and take his soul as well. It's going to be 3-0. Maybe I might be generous and give him one pin because I'm going to be playing around with a hook because that is his strong suit. But I'm going to top roll the shit out of him. He's got no hand. He's not going to be able to contain my top roll. in any way or form. So I'll gas his hand out, his arm out, and then I'll like dabble in a hook.
I want to see this, bro, because I know Playboy Roy. He's the real deal, man. He's been smoking a lot of guys out there, and I just love when he does, when he has these post match interviews on stage. And bro, he's got it, man. He's got that it character, bro, and he's got the look and everything. So I encourage everybody to check him out as well. But he's got a nightmare coming his way, man, and that is Dan over here. I've had my experience with Dan. Dan kind of smoked me in a super match for real. And, I think we're going to have to run that back one of these days, man, for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, last time I had to come there and set it straight and not only take you out, I had to take out the whole team and everything. So, yeah, we definitely going to have to run that back. But I am so excited about this match because, I've been trying to figure out where Playboy Roy is in the food chain. And, I know out there, just like you said, Montana, he is the guy. And I also know where you are. You are one of the top guys on the East Coast, man, and your hand is ridiculous. So if that is a weakness for him, the hand, he's about to seriously have a nightmare with you, bro. So I really encourage everybody to check these matches out. It's going to be great. So whose channel is it that we could actually see the super matches?
So the super matches is going to be on the M spot. That is the M, the letter M spot. Drew 24. You can go ahead and link that. I think you'll see it shared all over in my post. And they are they got a really cool production. I gotta say I like the quality of production they have. It's something that they have an under the table camera facing upwards, so you can really see all the little different micro adjustments that people are making. So I've been able to watch that and study some of my other teammates' opponents and give them a little bit of feedback of where I think they need to go, and it's really been helpful in studying what they do and how they pull. So
I want to ask Grondin now. Have you watched Playboy Roy at all? Have you seen him in action?
Yeah. Just from hearing about that match, like I always like to see where people are at, watching videos, stuff like that. But because he's in a different area, it's hard to tell where he's at with guys up here. You know what I mean? Like I can compare Dan to probably some guys in our area, but not someone from like a different area. So it's hard to say, but it looks like it's going to be a decent match just watching their styles and a good matchup. So see what happens.
Is there a weight cap on this match?
Yeah, it's a 176 weight cap. So
okay, I'm gonna be taking notes then with both of your asses, man. That 176 for sure, bro.
Yeah, so all the matches are representing each of the weight classes. We're starting at 154, 165, 176, 187, 198, and so on and so forth. We're just going to literally hit every single weight class that's ever been represented. People are going to be able to compete at their walk-around weight, so no one's really cutting for their weight class, which is nice. So people are going to be where they're strongest, where they feel strongest too.
So guys, check out Drew24. Just linked it up there. That's the M Spot YouTube channel. That's where you're going to get to see all this action. It's all free. So definitely take advantage of that. You're going to see some of these great pullers. We got the country guys going against the city slickers. And let's take a guess right now. Gronin, who do you think is going to get the win that day? As far as super matches, are the city slickers going to be too much for these country guys, or these country guys are just, farm boy strong and going to surprise the shit out of these city slickers?
Got to go with the city slickers, man.
Okay. So I know, Matt, you're probably not too privy to all these guys, and all this could be, something. I know you're going to be throwing your event, and you're the next day, so I don't know if you're going to be able to tune in and all. But have you heard of any of these guys like Playboy Roy or Dan the Nightmare? Have you seen them in action at all?
No, but I'm very excited, and I love the concept of what you're doing. And whenever you put $500 on a match, it's like it gets attention instantly. It's like people want to see it regardless as to who's pulling and their level. It's like, oh, that makes it it makes it real. It makes it a real challenge, and you can tell both guys really want to win that money. So I love the fact you're doing that, and that you've got this reality show thing happening as well. I think you're doing a tremendous job with that, really pushing different ideas and trying to get arm wrestling out there in a different way. And I love and I support anybody who's doing that. So well done to you.
So yeah, whenever you do, when things settle down out in Australia after your event and you've got all your editing and done, and we get to see all this great AWE event, I encourage you to check out these matches, bro. Because I've been following these guys, especially these Montana guys. I already know all the East Coast guys, and these are guys I pull with, and these are my homies and all. But I've been watching a lot of footage of the Montana guys, and they are fun, bro. They are fun to watch. They got some serious characters over there. Playboy Roy, as soon as I seen him in his first match, I hit the dude up and I was like, bro, I love what you're doing. I love your character. This dude stands out. This is like what I've been preaching for years to everybody. You want to get noticed? This is the guy, bro. Watch him, man. He comes out with these one-liners. I mean, you would think he was like a pro at a WWF wrestling, the dude and it's not faked or anything. This is like the real deal. This is how this guy is. And he's jacked, bro. He's got that like energy level, and this is going to be a good one. And this might be something for you to scout out, bro, because I think you're going to find a lot of great characters out here, and you might want to, get them involved with AWE sometime, because, it could be, you could find some hidden gems in these for sure, man. I'm really, really excited about this one, man. I'm 100% going to be tuning in. If I didn't have that big expo the day before, I would be there in person supporting these guys. I love what they're doing. I love the whole reality concept. I love with the whole mansion, and we're going to get to see these guys just sitting back, and, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of like talking shit. It's kind of like that old UFC reality show they had going on and all, and I think that's kind of like the concept they're going with. And I'm really curious to see how this takes off and all. So kudos to you guys, bro. Love what you're doing and all. So
I'm excited to be a part of it, man, because I in all honesty, it's something I haven't seen done before in our sport stateside. And I know there's a lot of talks of other people trying to do things similar, and there's room for it all to grow into something more. Hopefully one of the big time networks sees something like this and say, hey, there is some entertainment value in this, and there is more to this than being just a barroom sport. These are some real people.
I want to stop you right there, bro. I don't know if you were just listening. Don Underwood was just saying, Greg Sharp, bro, he has just got the program now. It's all, he just posted it up today. He's got everybody on TV, and he could get anybody in there. He said to hit him up and all. So, that might be something you guys might want to talk with, before this event goes on. You might be able to get right on TV right away for this event. So that could be somebody to definitely reach out and talk with for sure.
Without a doubt. That's exciting, man.
I want to tie now Grondin in here, and Matt, I want to get you guys all connected. So there's been a lot of talk going on, and we're the Buzz Show, so we got to report back on everything that's been going on weekly and all. So we're a lot of talk about this legacy hammer, what I mean? And, Devin, and, there's all this controversy with Dennis Saplenkoff, and, Devin is saying that, he's got to defend it, or, he wants it back. And, and then I guess Artem Moore's, I haven't, the person I've been getting my news from is Arm Wrestling News, Pradeep and all. I haven't really been watching, day to day. So I just kind of catch up with Arm Wrestling News, and, what I've got out of it, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I know probably Drew and Rickard and all these guys are privy to, day to day what's going on. But it seems like Artem Morzov kind of got offended by it, and kind of like, stepped in and started saying like, who cares about this legacy hammer? It's a dead league that doesn't exist anymore, and it means nothing. And I think Devin was kind of, really mad with that. And then next thing, Engen is involved, and, I guess Engen felt like he was, being threatened in a way, because, it's not East versus West, and, he don't really like competition, and he doesn't want Devin talking about another organization. So I kind of want to get caught up on that. So, how about you, Dan? Have you been following this day-to-day stuff going on with it?
No, not really, to be honest with you. Like, I just seen that video you sent me earlier, and I was like, what in God's name is this? What is this about? And
So hold on, let me just catch everybody up with that. So that was from Arm Gods. Arm Gods sent me a video and they're like, yo, bro, you're in this. And also, so I watched it and I was laughing my ass off, but that really wasn't, they kind of hit on it a little, but they didn't really get into the details. It was just more of a funny video of all like the names in arm wrestling and, being funny with that. So guys, if you haven't already, get over to Arm Gods. They've been putting out these funny like cartoon videos and all. And I got lucky to be in this last one about the hammer and all, and I kind of was just laughing my ass off, and I sent it around to everybody. But it's got more into like the details and everything. I don't know if you've caught up on it, Matt. Have you got to catch up on the whole controversy going on with that legacy hammer, and what's your whole thoughts with that?
Yeah, it just reminds me of what they were doing with MMA, and there was like, for years there was like the official greatest like heavyweight title, and it was it floated around through different fighters that were not really the heavyweight champion at that point in time, and it was more of an underground kind of oh yeah, he's the heavyweight champ at the moment, but the real heavyweight champ never lost to this guy, to that guy, blah, blah, blah. I think it's a bit of a non-issue, to be honest. I think it's just a bit of a talking point at this point in time that maybe Devon's sort of cottoned on to. Hey, it'd be nice to have that hammer. And then people sort of jumped onto, oh, well, you should have defended it, Dennis. And if you're not going to defend it, then it should be given up. I don't think there's a lot to it, to be honest. And if Dennis is holding on to the hammer, really, it's like, does it really matter? I don't think it's a big thing, a big deal.
Can I? This is my take. I'm totally like guessing with this, but I know the players involved, and this is my take of everything. I think that Engen and Devon might be clashing a little these days. It's anybody that's worked with Engen. It kind of gets like that, man. Engen's got his set ways and things, and if you're not 100% in agreement with it, you can be on some problems. But he might have met his match with Devon. Devon's got the following, and Devon is kind of the moneymaker of East versus West and King of Table and all. So I think that they've been going at it for the last like month, maybe 2 months, and I think this might be a slick way of Devon kind of messing with Engen's head a little, by all of a sudden just now there's a problem with the legacy, and just him mentioning that you have the whole community talking about an award that has nothing to do with East versus West. We're bringing back WAL essentially with that. And I think that's like Devon like poking the bear a little with Engen and knowing Engen is going to get set off. So I believe what I think might be going on, and I think kind of Devon was kind of hinting at this, is that, when Oleg Petrenko answered back with like a post, and it sounded like Engen talking through Oleg. And I think that Engen might have been offended, hit up Oleg Petrenko and gave him, what he should say. Then I think he kind of sent his next soldier, which is the Terminator, Artem Morzov. And I think he kind of like stepped up to Devon and was like said that. And I think it's just, Devon like, trying to throw little daggers and just get under Engen's skin a little, and also show Engen like, bro, I could be done with all this. I think they both blocked each other on Instagram. I don't think Devon's following Artem no more. I don't think he's following East versus West or Engen, so outside looking in, and like I said, I have not been following day-to-day situations. I just know the players involved, and I know how they they do things, and I think this could be a slick way of it going on. Now my other theory, if that's not correct, is maybe this is a staged beef. Maybe Engen and Devon could be in cahoots with this, and like, we want to get more hype on this next, East versus West coming up, and maybe that could be the other plan. So I'm interested to hear from the chat what your guys' thoughts on everything is, and what do you think is actually going on? Is this more Devon like poking at Engen in a way, and kind of like, showing him like, if you don't, if you want to start fighting with me and all, I could really mess with you and really, kind of be disruptive. And, he is the money maker of East versus West. And then my other question to you guys is, do you think Engen has the power to sideline Devon, from East versus West and King of Table? or would this hurt his bottom line with his profits and all? Rondon, what's your whole thoughts on this, man? Have you been following this at all?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I focus more on the 98%, but I don't think Engen could sit Devin out of an East versus West, because from what I understand, like, they only really make money on the pay-per-views when Devin's on the card. So I don't think they could afford to sideline him, you know, for maybe one event or something, but not for any amount of time more than that, because I mean, East versus West, with what they're doing, they have a lot of overhead. So if they don't meet that overhead, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And Richard says,
good.
Richard says Engen is a good guy for East versus West, but not arm wrestling in whole, because he wants everything for himself. Okay. And then we got, he says, Richard also says, and the hammer got nothing to do with Wall, and someone can take that of the hammer at any time and put whatever they want on it. And guys, just so you guys know, I want to just, you know, brag a little about that. If you guys see right here, I have the same hammer as that legacy hammer. This is the WAL hammer. I believe it was for the 225 left. This is Travis Bagent's. And, you know, I just remembered like 3-4 years ago, Travis posted, you know, this was when he was trying to get under WAL's skin. You know, I think they sued him back in the day, and, you know, he's been, you know, back and forth with them. He just made a post and he was like, yo, I'm going to put this out in my garage sale, and anybody, you know, wants to come pick this goddamn thing up, you can pick it up or whatever. So I you know, hit him up and I'm like, yo, bro, are you serious, man? Like, you know, that would look amazing in my gym. I want that thing so bad. So he's like, yo, what's your address? So of course I'm thinking Travis is messing with me. This is before like I was good friends with him and all. And I'm like, so I shot him the address and everything, thinking nothing. I'm like, there's no way he's gonna do that. Next thing, this thing shows up in my mail, and I'm like, holy shit, bro, I have a WAL hammer, and I believe it's the same as the legacy hammer. It's just with the legacy, I think, you know, Devin went and got engraved on there the winners that held it before and all that. And, you know, so I'm telling this story because I believe it does mean something to Devin. You know what I mean? This was at one time, this was the East versus West. This was the top organization. You know, it was like if you were on WAL and you were a hammer holder, that really, really did mean something. So, you know, a lot of the new guys, I don't think really understand that. And I do truly believe that, you know, there is some sort of connection with that. And, you know, I think Devin wants to see it circulated. You know, I know he's using it as like, yo, I want to go against Dennis left hand. And, you know, and people think that's not even close these days, and that Devin would, you know, kind of destroy him and it wouldn't be a match. But I also kind of agree, like, you know, it means something. And, you know, I think somebody should, you know, be defending it, or, you know, there should be some way that he could get it back. Now, am I wrong saying this, man? Like, what's your whole take on that, Matt?
Yeah, I think like, to me, it feels like he's just brought this out of nowhere. And yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he's poking a little bit and creating some drama just to sort of get at certain people. But you know, it's speculation whether or not that's happening. I don't know whether it really carries a lot of value apart from what Devin is assigning it to. You know, to say, oh, it's this legacy hammer and people really respect it and people are chasing it. It's like, no one really knew about this 2 weeks ago. Like, you know, it was. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's just something Devin has brought up. And maybe maybe you're right on the reason that he's done it, but I think fans are not particularly that interested in what happens with this hammer.
And Drew24 says, Richard, he doesn't want it all for himself. It seems like he feels his way is the best, and the issues with WAF make it much tougher for a few key ways too. And then Richard goes back. He goes, no way, Paul, because Devin loves the idea of having the hammer be like the Stanley Cup in the NHL, go on forever and ever with all champion names on it, because we don't have that now, nor will you. Yeah, I kind of agree. That's kind of what I was just saying. I kind of do agree with that, man. I think it does mean something to him. And, you know, for just to be sitting in, you know, Dennis's house and collecting dust, and, you know, I believe, you know, he probably does want that out. But I also think it is a tool for right now for him to kind of check Engen and kind of just get under Engen's skin. And obviously it worked because I believe Engen came out with a new award. You know, I think there was like a gold glove or something. Dan, did you see anything like that?
Yeah, I saw the gauntlet, like it looks like the Infinity Gauntlet from freaking the Avengers Infinity Gauntlet or something like that. I have to agree with what Matt was saying about it being like his way of poking the bear type of deal. But I think Devin's bored. To be honest with you, I think he may be bored of arm wrestling the same people. So that's why he keeps dropping weight, climbing weight, dropping weight, and now he wants to go back up in weight. And he does have some type of sentimental value. He wants to see it recirculating. But yeah, no, it's a little chaotic in my opinion.
Well, we're gonna move on now. We have another big topic, and that's why Ryan Grondin is here right now. Well, of course, we want him on anyways, just to hear from Grondin in the '98 and all. But there's really a big thing that's been going on, and let me just catch everybody up real quick on this before we get to Grondin. Is WAF, all the complications with WAF. They've been banning a lot of people and all. So about, I think it was a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, Ryan, when this group was made. Yeah, so it was about like 2 weeks ago. Knuckles Up guys and a couple of friendly supporters of the WAF side were all put in a group. And the Knuckles Up guys hit us up and we're like, yo, it's all friendly people to WAF and us, and we're kind of confused why nobody else is in this. They're saying it's for all the organization and promoters in North America, but not, nobody else. So they added me, they added the 98, they added Mikey Olivia from Pro Gear Arm Wrestling out of Florida. And, so we see this whole group and we see that, they're talking about having a Zoom meeting, and Simon, who's the head of self-inflicted president of North America Arm Wrestling and all for WAF. He's the representative, but there's no election or anything for that. He's just, he's caught this title, I think like 20 years ago. And, he's just, kind of like a dictator, has just, stayed there and nobody votes him in or anything. This man is just, he's quite the character, man. I've got all these crazy posts that I see and him messaging people back like so arrogantly. Like I can't even believe some of the things he said. So before I get into it, I just want to read one of the things that he recently said to everybody that kind of like stirred up the whole community with this. And he goes under a lot of these chats, and he's always fighting with IFA and kind of degrading everybody and anybody that arm wrestles under them and wins any kind of awards. He kind of just like it's not a real award, and if you want to really go to a real league, you go to the WAF and whatever. So one of the things that he said on there, he goes, "You really should. Only the sheep don't. I have a genius level IQ, multiple masters. I am a successful millionaire with decades behind the sport at the highest level. There is only maybe 3 people in the world that understand the facts of this sport as well as I do. Keep following the pretenders and see where that leads you." And he's talking about the IFA when he said that. So when I first seen this, I just was like, whoa, we got an extreme narcissist right here. And, so that's kind of like the prelim of Simon. And, he constantly, I think Jody Williams, was putting out a post talking about winning IFAs, and, Simon went right under there and like kind of degraded it, and then put out this like bet saying that he would put any WAF champion in any weight class against any IFA winner of that weight class, and he'll put up $1,000 for each match. And he just like, this guy just rubs people wrong. And, and mind you, it's like, he's the self-anointed king of WAF and all, there's no elections or anything. And, that's like a real problem in my eyes. That's pretty much what a dictator is. So now 2 weeks ago, we get put into this group and all, and we had to be put in through the Knuckles Up guys. They just wanted everybody to see what was going on. And then in there, he said he was going to be holding a Zoom, and he's going to be telling everybody what you have to be as an organization what you have to do, the rules, so that you could have these WAF athletes compete at your events. So, when I seen this, I'm just like, wow, bro, this dude is just on a power trip right now and just wants to flex his muscles around. But soon as we were put in the group, it just kind of went silent. And it was kind of like they were taken back that we're in this group now, and they know how we're going to be reporting back everything that goes on. So I want to now put Ryan, just kind of catch us up now on everything else that went down.
So yeah, so he adds us to the group, and we had to put our emails in there for the link. Now Paul goes and puts that his email is wafbands@aol.com. So
that is the true email I made just for this. I was like, I got to make a statement with that. So I went and made a fresh email just for this group. And soon as I did that, oh, bro, right away he goes, I'm not dealing with your stupidity, and he removed me from the group. So yeah. I'm X'd out of the group right away.
Yeah, so you're booted. So then tonight, everyone's hitting me up like, hey, that meeting's in 5 minutes. So Simon invites everyone to the meeting except for me. So Knuckles Up was like in the meeting. They're like, how come you're not inviting Ryan? And he's like, well, he always disagrees with me. And they're like, what? And so anyway, so they have this meeting, right? And, Mikey, Knuckles Up, they're all telling me what's going on. So apparently in order to even have a WAF sanctioned event, you can have 0 IFA people there. So I start laughing because I'm like, Simon just had his own WAF event that had IFA people there, and that was okay because it was his event, the nationals they threw, because there were people there that wanted IFA. So maybe this is a new rule, but I'm like, well, I guess half the people that went to his event this year are not going to be there next year if they're going to follow the rules. So again, there's no clear path to have a WAF sanctioned event in the United States unless you ban everyone from IFA from your event. So it's still about bans. Like, now they want you to do the banning though, and not invite IFA people to your event. So to me, that's still creating division. They just want you to do it now instead of them doing it publicly. Now it's on you to tell people from IFA not to come to your event if you want to have it sanctioned by WAF. So the whole meeting, according to everybody that was in it, was just a bunch of bullshit. So it got nowhere. Everybody kind of left thinking that was stupid. So.
Well, so the other thing that I want to catch everybody up on is Simon just keeps going around, and I got a lengthy email back. No, they were going back messaging each other, direct messaging with Jody Williams and Simon. And Simon is just pretty much flat out saying that the only way this is going to be resolved is that there's only one major league recognized in the world, that the IFA has to be dissolved for anything to happen, or he does not want to hear anything about it. And this guy, just the way he comes across is just insane. And you guys just got to keep saying to yourself, this guy is the self-anointed. There is no elections. There is nobody anybody else that could get his title in North America, because that's it. That's his title. And he's not going to go through any fair elections on who's going to run things. And you're just like scratching your head, and you're like, yo, we're here trying to grow our sport. And then you hear this ridiculous bullshit that these guys are doing. And this is going on the other side of the pond. And this is accepted because they are all tied in with all the governments. And I don't know if you guys checked out my interview with Jordan Sonoff. It was about 2 weeks back. I had him on, and he's the first person to really go in on public and explain what is going on. And he found paperwork where they were throwing training camps in Bulgaria, and he was listed as one of the teachers. Now, the only problem was Jordan was not up to date with this or invited to this. So they were getting paid. Somebody was keeping the money and having Jordan as a teacher, but Jordan wasn't there or had no knowledge of this before. He found this paperwork because they got a lawyer and they started investigating, and They want to find everything that's really going on corrupt, and they wanted to come out in the public. So I encourage you guys, if you want to catch up and hear it right from the horse's mouth, Jordan Sonoff went on for about a half an hour, and it was like the middle of the interview, and just kind of told a lot of the corruption, and my mouth just dropped. I couldn't believe, because I've heard all this corruption talk, but I've never actually heard solid evidence or somebody saying this is what they're doing, this is where the money's being hidden. Well, in this interview, it was done, and this happened. So with that, we got hit up. We got contacted, both me and Ryan Grondin. It was after that the time that Devin Lorette came on the 98 podcast on a Friday night, and Devin just kind of like laid into me, and I was not hearing it, bro. I kept going back at him, and he just all he chose to do was scream over me. There was no logic behind it. There was no facts. I was speaking facts and all, and he just was not hearing it. And I just was not going to get in a screaming match with the top arm wrestler that's got 1 million+ followers. I don't want to have, the troll armies coming, but I wasn't going to back down either, man. I was definitely not going to fanboy him and just like, yes, Devin, you're right. And Devin just kept saying, WAF should be the only ones. Everybody else should go away, and we should all just shut up and listen. And I just was not hearing it. Well, supposedly this lawyer was listening to that show, and he really got offended by a lot of things Devin was saying, and said that, it's not true. And this guy has been investigating them and has actually came up with a lawsuit, and he is suing WAF. So he started like telling us he wants to come on the channels. He wants to tell the stories. He's going to lay out all the facts. He's going to show everything that he's found out and all. So Ryan, I'm going to let you take it on from there, because you went and locked in this interview, and just kind of fill us in on what he's going to be doing.
Yeah. So Knuckles Up put me in touch with him, and after he talked to me and you, they put us in that chat. So this guy calls me, and we had like a 2-hour conversation. And let me tell you, when this guy comes on, the stuff that he knows is going to blow the arm wrestling world apart. Like the corruption with WAF and all those people out there that say that Engen has nothing to do with it. Wait till you see this interview. And I mean, this guy has documentation. He's been in litigation against WAF for 2 full years now. And the only reason it hasn't gone anywhere is because his country's government is kind of shut down right now, kind of like ours was in COVID. So all the court cases are like years behind, and they're trying to play catch up. That's the only reason it hasn't gone further than it is. But oh man, the corruption he was telling me about, and how WAF, like, they don't even technically exist. There's
Hold on. Let's not get into the details yet. Let's let him explain. So let everybody know when this is going down and where they could watch it.
He's coming on Saturday, 5:30 Eastern time, because there it's going to be like 1 a.m. So that was the best time that he could come on. So 5:30 Saturday, we'll be on. I think Paul's joining. Matt might join. Knuckles Up is probably going to join.
This is all going down on the 98 channel. So you guys definitely go over there, subscribe right now. And the other thing that I want to make context is in a lot of these posts I'm seeing online on Facebook from Simon, is he saying, well, nobody's ever showed facts of showing the corruption, or because a lot of people are going back at Simon and saying, oh, well, you guys did this and did this, and he just always like, well, you don't have facts with that, you have no idea, and he acts like he's above everybody and he knows more than everybody, and we should all shut the fuck up because he's a genius and all that. So, well, now what we have coming is the actual lawyer that is in litigation for the last 2 years and has a whole file on all the goodies. We're going to break into everything. We're going to hear the details here.
He's having it translated to English so that he can send us that paperwork, so that we actually have the paperwork to be like, hey, here's your facts. Stop saying that everybody's lying, So Simon,
I'm so happy because, you know, I've been in this sport for a few years, and I've just heard from all the people that have been around forever, you know, guys that are in 40 years, and they keep just saying, you know, he's so corrupt. And, you know, they don't want to go and say it in public. You know, everybody's talking in back channels and all that. But I've never seen concrete evidence. And, you know, it kind of like, you know, I haven't seen no smoking gun that's got me where it's just like, yo, we got them. This is what you guys are doing. We need to expose this and show it. Well, this guy is the one. And, you know, after seeing all this shit going on in the public and people lying out their face, he's finally, you know, had enough. And he wants to show everything, and he wants everybody to be on the same page. You know, he could come on and tell us a bunch of stuff, and maybe we don't believe, or, you know, maybe it's not sufficient evidence. You know, I'm not, you know, I'm by the confidence that he's coming, I kind of believe him, but I also want to see the facts. I haven't seen it for myself, but I want to see hard evidence. And after hearing Jordan Sonoff and knowing what kind of character this man is, and Jordan is just out for arm wrestling and a great guy, and then to hear him go on for 30 minutes, and, you know, he just enlightened me a lot. And I'm like, oh my God, I always thought there was no money in arm wrestling. You know, I was like, nobody's figured it out yet. But after hearing what Jordan was saying, I mean, these guys are running it like the mafia. It's like a racket, a big racket they got going, and they're tied in with all the governments. And if they're doing these no-show jobs, so to say, like having people say, like Jordan Sonoff is, you know, teaching a training camp, and we're paying, the government's going to pay this certain amount to Jordan Sonoff, but then to find out Jordan Sonoff isn't getting no paycheck or even at this training camp, you're like, oh my God, that's one country. If they're doing this in the whole world, we're not talking small money here, guys. We are talking millions of dollars, you know, and now it's all starting to make sense. And we're like, okay, now we understand why these guys are so defensive of WAF. We understand why, you know, they're just, you know, they feel they're so powerful and untouchable, because when you got money coming in from all these governments, and the governments are kind of in bed with these guys. And, you know, and then I know the background, you know, with Engin, you know, Engin and me were, you know, he was my coach, and he used to tell me how he's on salary from the Turkish government, you know, and the Turkish government is answering to WAF. So they're all in bed together. So to start thinking and saying, oh, well, you know, it's two different entities. We got Engin in one, and he's so innocent. He's a god of arm wrestling. Never talk bad about him. But then to hear that WAF is a different entity. No, they're not. They're all connected, all in one. Even if Engin didn't want to, you know, listen to WAF, he has no choice, because he's under salary from his own government. You know what I mean? So, you know, it is convenient for Engin to, you know, play to like, I'm not involved. It's WAF when he does. But when you follow the money, they're all in the bed together, man. So,
cool.
You know,
the cool thing too is this guy Yanni, the lawyer, he arm wrestles too. He was like one of the main guys on the Bulgarian team. So, you know, he's got the sport. You know, the sport and the pullers. He has their best interest at heart, because he is a puller. So it's not like just some lawyer that the Bulgarian team hired. He's part of what's going on. You know, like they're offending him personally with what they're doing to the Bulgarian team and government. So, but yeah, when you hear this guy confirmed everything Jordan said, so that's, you know, I know Jordan's telling the truth, because after my conversation with this guy, I'm like, there's no way they have the same story like that with so much detail. So it's going to be cool Saturday. Can't wait. And we might have him as a guest maybe someday in the future on the roundtable. So
Dan has to head off. Dan has to head off.
I gotta take off, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. Thank you for having me back here, Paul. I had a great time. I'm heading down to Puerto Rico for a family vacation, and also sneaking out for a practice. So tune into my channel. I'll go live Friday night.
Thank you very much for coming on, Dan, and I wish you the best on your great event coming up, and we'll be tuned in, everybody. Thank you again, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So I just want to say this, guys, you know, so the reason why, you know, I feel that, you know, a stand has to be made in North America. Is I see what they're doing. They're now moving into North America. They got the rest of the world in line and all. And I don't want this happening. I think this is a very bad thing. When somebody's just anointed themselves the king of North America. I mean, these guys don't even really throw events out here. They do nothing for arm wrestling in North America. And the way that this guy just portrays himself and throws his might around like, he's the Don and we got to kiss this dude's finger and all. And I'm just like, hell no, bro. You are not doing this in North America. And then to find out all the corruption that they're doing, and now they're going to start moving in here and like, nah. See, guys, you guys got to understand one thing, man. I'm here for straight up arm wrestling, bro. I am not making no money in this. I am true love this sport. You know what I mean? And I see the problems with it. And a lot of people are just like, yo, why are you stirring up this shit? Because I truly love arm wrestling. And I think it's a really bad thing if people start coming in and controlling and telling you who you could pull with, who you can't pull with. We should all be helping each other out. There doesn't need to be division, and all these guys seem to be on is a power thing. It's like they want to control, and that's all it's about. And to see that Simon is like, controlling people, and he's now going to start like acting like he's going to tell what organizations, like, you got to meet this, you can't have any of the IFA guys working with you can't even have them at your event or else you're banned. Bro, first off, how are you the king? You haven't even had an election. We need to have like fair elections here. There should be, if WAF is a fair organization and doing the right thing, you don't just anoint a dictator and say you need to listen to this guy. That is a problem.
Yeah.
That should not be accepted. And us arm wrestlers, if we care about arm wrestling, they're coming for North America now. And they're going to be doing it with East versus West. Believe me, I love East versus West. I like what they're doing, but I don't like if they're going to come in here and squash out every other promotion and organization. Somebody's got to make a stand.
Never going to happen.
That's it, bro. We need to stand together, people, and you guys need to make your decision, man. So all we're going to do is we're going to present with this lawyer the facts. We're going to let you guys decide what you want to do. You know what I mean? I'm not here just trying to like be like, yo, this is what you need to do. All I want to do is just show everybody, put spotlight on what is going on. You guys can make the decision from there. I know where I stand. Yeah. I don't believe in a dictatorship. I don't like what they did in the rest of the world. I've seen how all these banned guys like the Bulgarian team are banned and they can't compete here. And these guys just squashed them. I mean, I don't want to see that happen in here. So I just, I hope this lawyer spreads light on everything. Again, check out the Jordan Sonoff interview. I couldn't believe he was saying the stuff he was saying on there. I was like, this dude's got balls, man, because, that's the first guy that I've seen actually show some facts that we could be like, holy shit, this is corruption right here. You know what I mean? So tune in Saturday. I'll be on there 100%. I really love what you're doing, Ryan. I love that you're
come on multiple times. So I told him, why don't you come on, talk about the basics, and then he can get into more detail on your show the next week or whenever.
Oh, I would love to, man. And, I'm truly curious because I haven't seen any of the stuff from him. I know we had conversations and, he said a couple of little things, but I want to see the hard facts. I want to hear the actual stories. I want to be like, and I want everybody to hear this. I want the whole community to know what is coming to North America. And then you guys decide. You guys might be like, yo, WAF is right. WAF is the way. And if that's the way that you believe, then, respect to you. But let's just see it all out on the table, and then we could decide where we want to go with it. Matt, what's your whole thoughts about this, man? Were you surprised when you heard that the lawyer is involved in all this?
No, not really. I think that there's been rumors of corruption spreading from that realm of the world, from the underground sources for many years. And it's kind of a good opportunity right now that we may get the opportunity to spotlight that and say, well, all those rumors that you've been hearing for the last couple of years, they're actually true, and here's the evidence. And that's always the best way forwards. Is you never want to sort of spread rumors or gossip unless you've got the ability to back it up with factual evidence. And that's what we're going to see on Saturday with the lawyer who's literally been fighting this corruption with exactly what you want to see, and that is written, documented, evidentiary, court-appointed documents, and that's what he's going to be using. And so it's pretty hard to argue against that if he's bringing factual evidence and in his statements, and you want to counterpoint that, well, you're going to have to bring factual evidence that counters that exactly to the point. So we'll see once he presents his side, and all of the stuff that he has accumulated over the last couple of years, and puts light on that, then maybe the opinion on whether or not WAF is a good organization for arm wrestling, people's opinion may change on that.
Yeah, and I'm also going to put this out there for everybody so you could hear it here first, is Simon, I know me and you do not like each other. You've made that very clear, but I'm here for arm wrestling, brother. So I would have you on my channel still. I've asked you repeatedly from day one when we first started getting in contact 2 years back. And, I've heard all the backstory. So I gave you the right, like, yo, come on here and explain, like, clear your name, bro. And as soon as I would say that, at first he would just ignore me. We'd be talking back and forth in direct message, and then as soon as I would bring up the interview, it would stop right away and he just wouldn't answer me back. So a red flag went off for me 2 years ago with this. Now recently the gloves came off. Now this dude is just straight up, like, he just makes it clear that he does not like me, and that's fine, bro. And I've never went back at you. I throw little digs. I made that little email just to kind of press his buttons, because when I seen him make this group and the way that he's talking in this group, like, we got to go and listen to this guy like he's the boss, and I just keep saying to myself, well, bro, you were never elected a boss, bro. Even in like the mob, you got to get anointed. You got to have other people like backing you up to say you're that guy. These guys, they just, I'm the president. That's like, I could start today. Well, I'm the president of Italian Arm Wrestling Promotions, and I'm going to say for you to throw any event in North America, these are the rules. So I'm just like looking at this guy like, bro, this is a joke. And I kind of was getting mad at all the other promoters, like listening to this bullshit and being like, everybody's just sending their emails and like, oh yeah, when are we going to do that? And I'm just thinking, bro, fuck this guy. Who the fuck is this? This guy, like, to me, is a freaking peon. Like, he's a narcissist peon telling me about how rich he is, and he's a genius,
bro.
It's like, bro, I'm a millionaire and I'm like, bro, I don't give a shit, bro. Like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? You're nobody in my life, man. Like, get over yourself. So, that's why I went and made that email, wafbands@aol.com and all that. And I thought it was just going to be like a little like, ha, ha, ha. And, I was still going to be part of this. And I would have showed up today. I was planning on being on that Zoom and all that, but he just kicked me out. That's where I see where his balls are at. Because me, when I have controversy with somebody, I want to have a face-to-face. I want to have a conversation with you, bro. I'm not going to just kick you out of the group. I'm going to show up there on that Zoom and be, hey, what's up, bro? You know what I mean? This dude he's such a no balls kind of guy. He just kicks me out, and then he doesn't have Ryan on there. He just decided he's not sending him the Zoom. So, I mean, we see where these guys are at, bro. You know what I mean? But, I'm just saying it right now, Simon, even though we have this beef or whatever, you're still, after you hear all this, I strongly advise you, come on my channel, bro. We can hash this out. You come on to Arm Wrestling Buzz. If you want to do a separate interview, just me and you as men, and we could talk in front of the public and live, that's the way a man should handle it. You know what I mean? Don't just, run from adversary, be a man. If you're going to go in and throw your might around, well, let's show us where your balls are at as well, bro. So it's still out there, guys. I'm saying it, Simon, we don't got to love each other. We don't even got to be friends, but I will give you to come and clear your name. If something is said that you disagree with, well, we want to see the facts from your side, bro. You know what I mean? We could mediate this like men. You know what I mean? So I encourage that, and he's probably not listening to this, but I'm sure some people in the chat will hit them up and let them know that this is going on.
Now, I want to say something similar real quick. Paul's extending the hand for you to come on his podcast, and I want to tell you that I hope you never come on my podcast and fuck that guy.
I love it. I love it. You always bring that comic relief when you need it, bro. I get a little look hot headed, and I start getting a little street on it, and then I love Ryan when he comes out with the comedy just to kind of relieve the everything and all. So great combination.
Tell everyone about our roundtable thing we got going.
Yeah, so this was a great this past week, the 98 put together the round table, and we got a bunch of the promoters and organizations in North America where we all did a Zoom call. And this was a positive thing. This was the first thing that Ryan started off, and he goes, this is not us going all together to align to go against any organization or anything. This is all for positive stuff. So that was the first thing that I really enjoyed. I was like, I wasn't sure how this was going to go. I didn't know if this was going to be like a campaign to go after other organizations, but that was cleared up right away. And I have a lot of respect for that, because we're here for arm wrestling, and Ryan really showed that. We had so many great organizations, people that I didn't even know were throwing events. Now I do. And now we're all connected and we're all on the same page. We're supporting each other, which, the whole 4 years I've been in the sport as a promoter and, also throwing my own events, I always said the biggest problem was everybody and their egos. It was like, as soon as you start throwing some, big events, all the other organizers and promoters would kind of be like, put their chest out and kind of like, take sides, and it kind of didn't feel like a family, and I always said that's how arm wrestling should be. Well, this round table has showed me that we've got somewhere. Everybody is now supporting each other. If one of us throw an event, we're all putting it on our pages. We're supporting them. I even hear that a lot of these guys are going to be traveling to each other's events, which I find that just really positive stuff. And that's how arm wrestling grows. It is the unity, is that family feeling. You know what I mean? We're a small knit sport. We got to stick together and support each other, because the overall goal is the same thing for everybody, to grow their sport. It's not one person step up and be the king and be the top dog. No, man, we're all going to help each other get there. And by us all doing that, we're getting more eyes on the sport. So really great thing. And if you guys want to get involved, I know a few people were, across at Greece, and they were coming home, so they couldn't actually make the meeting. They wanted to get on the next one. But if you're an organizer, a promoter, you're welcome. Come through. Hit up me, hit up Ryan. We'll get you in the round table. How often are we going to do these? Is it like once a month we're going to be doing?
We're probably going to do once a month, but then as we get going, we might do some in between with like guest speakers, like maybe promoters from other countries, or someone like Yanni, the lawyer, coming up, stuff like that. Just some different topics. Maybe we'll do in between, but once a month probably to start, just to see how it goes. But man, that meeting went great. Lots of great feedback. Everybody loved it. So I think we're on to something.
Yeah, it's really good thing. And Matt, what's your whole thoughts on the round table and everybody kind of coming together and all?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think it's a wonderful idea and nothing but positivity. And yeah, when you've got promoters working together, that's the whole idea of moving a sport forwards. And, like you said, people you weren't aware were running events, and now you are. So already it's had benefits. Yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping on the next one. I did miss the first one. I completely just didn't have the schedule down for it. I've been very, very dehydrated the last couple of days. I've spent the last 2 days in bed. So, but yeah, back on the.
You got to pass, brother. You're over in India. I know your whole schedule is completely different time wise and all that. So we understand completely. But I know in the chat, a lot of people were asking, how is India treating you, man? Can you kind of catch us up on what's going on over there?
Yeah, it's been really good. We've had some amazing moments and huge days. It's definitely a different culture. The streets are just completely filled at all times. I don't know, you probably can't hear it, thankfully, but there's horns going like 24/7. Everyone honks at each other like nonstop, which I think for them is just saying like, I'm passing you, or I'm here, so don't run into me. Yeah, there's so many different elements. But but the people have been wonderful. Everyone's friendly. Everyone's been nice. Probably the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is that every vendor, like if you're spending money, like everyone sees you're like a white person and tries to rip you off.
Oh, wow.
So that part of it is not fun. But everything else, like all the arm wrestling stuff, the clubs have been amazing. The people have been awesome. Meeting all the Pro Panja guys have been tremendous. I'm sitting in their office right now because they were nice enough to let me use their space because they've got good internet, whereas the hotel I'm at doesn't have reliable internet, as we did last week. I know I was getting maybe a quarter of the show and hoping that no one was asking me any questions because I couldn't hear anything. But it's nice and stable today. But yeah, looking forward to we're going to catch up with one of the clubs again this Saturday. And Ryan has been we've been working with Chetna Sharma, who's the #1 female arm wrestler here in India. We're doing some behind the scenes stuff and traveling around and filming workouts and all that sort of thing, which you can see on Ryan Bowen's channel, like daily blogs of all the stuff. And I'm sort of walking behind them as we're walking through the streets of India, and you can see what it's actually like. It feels like you're walking along with us kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely different. I was looking up they've got like a version of Uber Eats, which is called Swiggy, which I thought was kind of funny. But everything is spicy. Like everything that you go to order is spice. And I was just trying to find anything that wasn't labeled as hot or blazing or Mexican or jalapeno or surprise. And it was like, is there anything here that isn't a spicy meal? But apart from that, everything's been great.
Who is so she's the #1 arm wrestler of India and all. I see Ryan has really taken her under the wing and all. Is she got any like big super matches? Is Ryan kind of like training her? Like what's the whole deal with all that?
Yeah, so she's the #1, and she's actually hasn't been beaten since 2013, which I thought was insane. Chetna Sharma, her nickname is Tatu. She's signed as an AWE athlete under the talent organization. So we've got a few people that we're really pushing for the social media aspect of things. Rickard Bornman is another one. So we're trying to really push her profile and get her more known throughout the world so that she can get some really big international super matches. She competed on Pro Panja last year and won all of her matches. She was gearing up to compete for this season, which was season 2, which is why Ryan and I are here. But unfortunately, they had to postpone the season as the man that sort of behind the scenes that runs everything had a serious car accident and was in intensive care for several days, and he's still recovering from that. So they didn't feel comfortable to move forwards without his guidance. So they've had to reschedule. But a lot of the top people were already sort of peaked and in condition to compete in Pro Panja season 2, and several of them did come over here anyway. They had their tickets already booked, and so they were in this region, which Chetna Sharma was one of them. And we were like, she's got this amazing personality. She's funny. She has this unbeaten record for over a decade. And it was a great opportunity for us to work with her and start boosting her profile, which is what we've been doing for the last few days.
Now, what have you seen as far as the Indian arm wrestling progression? Like, where do you put them at? And compared to Australia pullers, like how would Tattoo do against the #1 Australian female?
Yeah, it'd be very interesting actually. So Keziah Harrington is our #1, and she will be at the AWE event on October 27th. So how they would face off against each other, there is a weight difference. I've got to do the calculation in pounds, but Keziah would be probably 2 categories above where Tattoo is sitting. But the match would be very interesting. I think it'd be really competitive between the two. And India's arm wrestling scene is definitely risen in terms of its skill and ability. And I think we were talking about having like an Australia versus India 5-on-5 kind of thing, like our best people versus their best people. And I think it'll be very, very competitive. They have some very, very good arm wrestlers over here, and especially in the lighter weight categories. They obviously they've got 1.8 billion people, so there is an enormous amount of talented arm wrestlers in this region of the world, and we're very happy to put a spotlight on some of them.
Are there a lot of like OGs over there in arm wrestling, or are they pretty much new?
Yeah, there's people that have been doing it for a long time, but it seems to be that the people that are at the top at this point in time have they're only a few years into the sport, and so I'd say it's 7 years and below is the top guys currently, which is interesting because it seems to be that it has found its popularity and found its audience, and it's really started to boost its level. And we're seeing athletes really starting to rise up to that international standard, as opposed to having, the guys that have been in for 20 years or whatever, and they're still really dominant. That's not the case here.
Does WAF have their hands in India at all?
I think the Pro Punja is affiliated with them in some aspect. They're affiliated through like another organization's overseeing, which is affiliated with WAF, but I'm not exactly sure of the ins and outs of how it works. But in terms of their rule structures and stuff, I think they're very similar.
Okay. Well, I'm very interested to see how that goes, man. I haven't been on much social media with arm wrestling, but I'm gonna go and check out your channel now. And as soon as I get off here and Ryan Bowen's, and kind of catch up on your whole visit, I want to see what India looks like, walking around the streets, and definitely curious to see how that goes. And I want to see the interactions at the different arm wrestling clubs and kind of get an idea, because what I'm imagining with so many people living in that country is that probably these teams are huge, like compared to North American teams and Australian teams and all. Yeah,
well, this thing, if you've got say 1% of 1.8 billion people that may be interested in arm wrestling, that's an absolutely astronomical amount of people that are keen on the sport. We've probably got maybe 400, 500 active arm wrestlers in Australia in total, and I mean the club we went to the other day would surpass that just from one of the local clubs. So when you've got that many people working together to get better at the sport, you are naturally going to find some diamonds in that, some absolute killers, and they're going to continue to get better and better as the years go on.
How does it go when you have like a big school like that? Now, like how many tables do they have in like their practices and all?
Yeah, I think they just kept bringing more and more tables out. We started, I think there was about 9 or 10 or something like that, and then more tables just kept appearing. And I think actually that they sort of restricted the numbers of people that could attend. And with the Q&A that they had, which was after the table practice, they limited it to 1,000 people. So just just to give you an idea, they had to put a cap on it at 1,000 to not exceed the amount of space that they had.
And what kind of tables are they using? Like what company table is like the general, or are they making them themselves there?
Yeah, so when Pro Punja runs, obviously it's the Pro Punja's making their own table. It's the same setup as a standard international table. But yeah, the club that we went to, they're all homemade, and the interesting thing is that they're all sort of welded together in a fixed position so that they don't come apart, which I found a little different to what we do. Obviously, for storage, and we've got to move our tables all the time, so we've got to take them apart. But most of theirs seem to be fixed in solid positions. But I don't think they had a particular brand or anything that they were using. It was more so homemade kind of things, which is what we see a lot in Australia as well. There's not really a predominant international standard table that we use, mainly because even if there was, if we wanted to use, like, let's say Arm Assassins, like one of those tables, getting it out to Australia, the shipping cost is just astronomical. I mean, the table itself might cost $400, $500, but then to get it to Australia might cost you $2,000 because of the weight of the steel. It's not worth it. It's much easier to get somebody like a welder, a local welder, to just weld the thing up and then get like a seamstress or whatever to make the pads and that sort of thing. It's a lot easier that way, and that seems to be the trend here as well.
Well, I gotta say, when I first got into sport, I sponsored a table with a couple other guys to send out to Africa. And, just like you said, it was a few $100s for the table, but then the expense, I think it was like, something like $1,000 or $1,200 to ship it out there. And then what was even crazier was once we sent it out there, they needed I think it was money to pick it up or something. And, one of the guys, I think it was Craig Millette from Louisiana. He was the guy that kind of put his name on everything. And I believe the CIA hit him up. And they thought it was possible terrorists, we were funding terrorists and all. And then we, just told them it was an arm wrestling table and we had to send the funds so that they could pick it up at the shipping place and all that. And, everything was fine, but it was pretty intense process to even make it happen. And then that leads me to my next question. What about like the handles and all? When we got so many arm wrestlers out there, is there any like kind of like marketing or, maybe some of these, North American or even Australian companies that make the hand tools and, the equipment for that? There's got to be some, potential out there, would you say? Or is it just too expensive? What do the handles go for out there? Do we have any idea?
Yeah, unfortunately the Indian rupee is not worth a lot internationally, which is why you don't see many Indians really competing around the world, unless they have a lot of funds behind them. To give you an example, so the Australian dollar versus the US dollar, I think we get about 70 cents. For $1. With the rupee, I think it's like 0.017. So it's not even it's like just 1 cent for a rupee. So for them to buy a handle from an international seller, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in their money. So anything that's out here is more than likely made here and made by the guys that are using it.
Okay, we got Captain Obvious. He says, put a table on the street for street challenge. Winner gets $1 and you'll have a line of 1,000 people. How come you guys do that? I'm surprised that Bowen or you haven't did something like that.
Oh, we're going to. Yeah, we've got it on the cards for sure. We've got lots of things that we've got planned. The last couple of days, as I said, I got quite dehydrated. It's very, very humid here, and we've been having massive, massive days. 3-4 hour sessions, which just sweatathons. I lost actually 6 kilos, which is like 13 pounds of just water. And yeah, started getting a bit sick, like just, was feeling completely low energy and that sort of thing. And so I've spent the last couple of days recovering from that and drinking like 3 gallons of water a day to try to keep up. I mean, the second you step outside the hotel room, you're sweating. You'll see in the videos that when we were training in the gym, even with air conditioning in the gym, Ryan's shirt is completely saturated. I had to take my singlet off because it was so wet. It was like not even worth wearing.
Oh, stop. You just want to show off those abs, bro. I know what you're doing over there. What's the temperature like, though? Like, give me an idea. What number-wise are we at?
I'm not sure what it is in Fahrenheit, but in terms of the actual heat, like I can handle the heat side of it. We're very used to that in Australia. Our heat over there is very dry, but here is just the humidity. It's just you just instantly sweat. Even if the heat in terms of temperature is lower, it's just you cannot not sweat as soon as you move anywhere. As soon as you step foot out, and I'm not even exaggerating, like I will step foot into the hallway from the hotel room and it's like, oh my God, I've just stepped into an oven. Like you just instantly start sweating. It's unbelievable.
Wow. And Eric GT says, good morning. Well, where are you coming from, Eric? Where is it at morning right now?
Good morning over here.
It is 12:30 a.m. now on the East Coast.
Okay. Technically, okay. So, okay, I got you. I was thinking like morning, like 8, 9 in the morning or something like that. What time is it by you, Matt?
It's 10 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he might be on your neck of the woods over there, or is that? Oh,
Yeah.
that's Eric from New York. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he's saying midnight. Okay, I
That's
got you, bro.
Big Rig Eric.
What's up, Eric? Thank you for tuning in, brother. Hell yeah, bro. So, yeah, I mean, we got to get. I really want to get the Pro Panja guys whenever they can. I understand. He just was in a pretty crazy accident and all. Whenever he's back and his health is good and all, I really, really want to get him on and just kind of hear all about the Pro Panja League and what they got planned and all that. And then also, if you can, man, and if you could grab a couple of the athletes, like maybe if you're in one of these clubs or whatever, and you see like a character that sticks out, or somebody that think would be fun on interview, maybe we could get that set up. I really would love to hear from an Indian arm wrestler as well.
Yeah, we could probably get Chetna Sharma, and she'd love to come on. She loves being on camera. She's a really good personality and very charismatic. Yeah, and she's staying in the same hotel, so yeah, it's quite an easy fix. We could probably get that happening easily.
Oh, nice. So let's get that set up next week, man. That would be a great for sure. Would love to see her on here.
Cool. Easy.
All right, fellas. I know it's getting kind of late, man. I got to go get some food in me, and I still got to get another workout in before I call it a night over here. So, want to thank you guys for coming on again. I just want to reiterate: Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, you're going to see all of us. We'll be on the 98 podcast. We're going to have the lawyer Yanni from Bulgaria, and he's going to be dropping some facts and evidence for us to see and kind of go through and all. So definitely check that out. Also, Friday night we have the hangout, always on the 98. That's every Friday night. So that starts at I think 8 or 8:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, and we got Christopher Griffith coming on to talk about some of the drama that him and Lorraine Jenkins have been dealing with.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. We know that's the Beast Mode squad, and we know everybody knows LeRae as the guy that's Mr. Round Robin of North America, throwing at some amazing events. And I've seen a couple of posts. I don't know what's going on or the details, so I'll definitely be in for that one. I think I might join you guys with that. And I think LeRae's been stressed out, man. People are really been going at them, and I'm really curious to hear his story. LeRae is one of those guys I really like a lot, man. Always, supporter of what he's doing. And Chris, he's the guy behind the scenes, and was his partner and all. And I finally got to meet him over at the last Knuckles Up, and he seems like a really great guy. So I really want to hear what they got to say. So I'll be tuning in Friday night. That's 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely get over to 98. Go click that subscribe, and let's follow them. And then also let's get over to Matt Conley's YouTube channel. He's over in India right now. They're putting all this amazing content together. And again, the experience walking around the streets of India, visiting all the arm wrestling clubs and kind of hanging out with everybody. And then also we all know that he's thrown this great event October 27th at AWE Grand Prix 2. It's going to be just absolutely lit. I mean, I think I got to say this too, man. Rickard Bornman, man, he wasn't even on the show tonight, and he took over the show. This dude is larger than life. He doesn't even have to be on the podcast. And I think we've mentioned his name a couple of thousand times, and he had the most airtime on here tonight. Everybody just keeps talking about him, and he's definitely the it guy, man. So definitely check that out. And then also, we just heard Dan the Nightmare. He came on. He's got over at the M Spot YouTube, October 26th. They're putting together a reality show. They got the Country Folk against the City Slickers. It's going to be a fun event. We're going to get to see Playboy Roy, which I love that dude, man. Such a great character and all. And he'll be going up against Dan the Nightmare. So I'm really interested to see how that one goes. And then, guys, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button on my channel. And if you can, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me get in the algorithm. And one more time is check out that Jordan Sonoff interview I did 2 weeks back. It was very enlightening for me. I finally got to hear some of the actual corruption of WAF, and I was just kind of, my mouth was dropped. Now I understand there is a lot of money behind all this, and now I understand why these guys are defending it with their life and all that. So thank you again, guys. Let's see the gun show before we call it a night. Flex it. Hell yeah, guys. Thank you again. And everybody in the chat, it was a great talk. I like having you guys engage a lot and asking questions and all. And it was something new I did tonight. And I think I'm going to, moving forward, we're going to be doing this a lot because you guys have a lot of great feedback and a lot of great questions. And I really appreciate you guys. All right, guys. Have a great night, everyone. See everybody next week.